She's already like, get out of my chair.
Timing.
Get out of my chair.
We don't know who she is, but you will now know who she is.
Would you like me to introduce myself?
Sure. Why not? You sound like a go-getter.
Yes.
Go for it.
My name is Jerah Hutchins. I hail from the great state of Texas.
Oh,
okay.
Somebody special with you today?
Yes. So I'm here with Mayor Jim Ross.
And that's our special guest, folks.
He'll be over in a minute. He's finishing eating right now. But Mayor Jim Ross of Arlington, Texas. We got a lot of stuff going on in Texas. So I own a cigar lounge in East Texas.
Oh, nice.
Then,
what's the name of it?
The Humidor.
The Humidor.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes, and then Jim Ross is actually, he and I are opening another concept in the old Texas Ranger Stadium. So we're doing a cigar lounge / jazz, blues, nightclub, fine dining concept.
Beautiful.
And then we're going to do a poker room out there as well. And then I have another business. I teach self-defense and firearms, and I concentrate on women. So we met David. So we carry Blanco cigars at the Humidor in East Texas, and so we decided that we made good friends with him, and we decided to fly out to Tampa today to see what this was all about.
Nice.
Well, this is what it's all about. You're happening. This is great. And again, it was just funny that one of our audience members asked, well, can we get a freaking woman on? And
here I am.
And here you are. And we didn't know about you. We didn't know about the mayor coming on board. We were told that, and we were hopefully going to get him on and talk about his venture in this new cigar lounge that you were just talking about.
Yeah.
When is the grand opening?
We hope to have the poker room, Tombstone Entertainment. We hope to have that done before the end of the year. But Hearsay, which is going to be the cigar lounge concept, probably around March. We want to open that around the groundbreaking of the Medal of Honor Museum that's coming to Arlington under his mayorship as well.
The one and only in the country.
Yes, one and only in the country. We were actually at Skyball Thursday night, which is a military fundraiser for Air Power, which donates money to a lot of different veteran charity. I'm actually currently in the Army, and then Mayor Jim Ross was a former Marine, former SWAT, former.
Thank you for your service.
You're worth it, man. You're worth it. And so we were at Skyball Thursday night, and there were 7 Medal of Honor recipients there.
Wow.
Very cool event.
That's awesome.
But every Medal of Honor recipient has been invited to this groundbreaking, as well as all the Joint Chiefs of Staff and every sitting president, every living president, rather.
Wow, that is awesome. That is fantastic.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
That is
so
awesome.
every living president is going to be attending this affair?
We feel like they will, but we obviously can't say for sure.
Yeah.
But they've all been invited to it. And then tomorrow we're flying back to go to the Cowboys game. Jim has to flip that coin over there at the Cowboys game, and we're gonna be in the suite with General Milley and George Bush.
Wow.
And I'm sure he'll talk more about that with them at that time.
That's awesome.
That is
Very
awesome.
cool.
So how long have you been smoking? And he's smoking one of Dave's good cigars there, too.
I am.
It's one of his salute to the soldiers, should I say.
And that's what we were talking to him about, is potentially having these at the groundbreaking of the Medal of Honor. This is the great cigar to have at an event like that. I've been smoking for 20 years.
Nice.
20 years?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could smoke at 3 years old.
Yeah, really.
So I'm 40, so
God, even better. Was I wrong?
Half my life.
So how long you been doing active duty now? How long you been in the service?
You know, I actually didn't even go into the Army until I was 38.
Really?
38.
They took you at 38.
I thought there was a
I'm a
cutoff.
specimen, can't you see?
Wow, but I thought there was a cutoff.
Not when you're a specimen.
No. She fooled him. She's like, I'm only 21.
I'm actually
This is a fossil.
That's what it is. You know
No, but I really thought there was a cutoff that you could.
There is a cutoff. So I'm actually a state Army. So Texas has both a state and National Guard. And the history of that's really quite interesting. So Texas has had a state guard since prior to the Alamo, right? And we were originally commissioned to protect colonists from Indian raids, and Stephen F. Austin was our first commander. And then we kind of morphed over time to be more of a medical first responder unit for acts of God, state emergencies. Kind of like that. Okay. And then we've kind of gone back and forth as to whether we're armed, unarmed, etc. But during the World Wars, we became an armed at-home military force because we, especially after Pearl Harbor, we thought that there might be a chance that we would be invaded by Japan inland, right?
Yeah.
And our National Guard and our active duty military were overseas, and so we became the home protection force. For America. So there's about 20 other states that have a state guard as well as a National Guard, and that's what we did during the World Wars. Was we were an at-home protection force in case we were invaded inland. And so now, but we did the Beaumont riots. We were actually, honestly, for even though we're Texas State Guard and we can only be activated by the governor of Texas, we were actually first boots on the ground for Hurricane Katrina. Wow. So we got there before the National Guard did, and we established scene safety and set up supply lines and shelters and started evacuation processes out there. So it's a very interesting history. Not a lot of people know that we have a State Guard, but we are
I did not know.
Yeah, we are a branch of the Texas Military Department as well as the National Guard is, and then we're just state army. That's all it is.
So let me ask you, just curiosity, if you don't want to discuss it, that's fine. But with what's going on with the border, what kind of
other invasion,
the true invasion?
We have had. There's only so much I can say to protect OPSEC.
Yeah,
of course.
But we've been rotating units out there to supplement Border Patrol and help out. Like one of the things that we're doing out there is like dealing with the camera systems and stuff like that to help secure the border virtually like that, right? To watch it, and kind of let people know what's going on, and supplementing Border Patrol. So I think we've been rotating units out there for a few months now. It's chaos. It's absolute ridiculous chaos, and that's really as far as I can go with it.
We got it. Don't worry.
But that is something that does tell you how serious the situation is down there, because implementing State Guard in operations like that is an absolute last resort, because we're typically a medical first responder force. And so for us to go down there and work on missions like that means that they are just desperate for people to secure our border.
Oh, gosh. Well, thank you for all you do down there.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't thank you enough. I know
it's a big undertaking.
Huge.
Thank you. Be careful.
It's a good group of people. The cool thing about State Guard is we're a volunteer force. We get paid for deployments. But as far as like drill and training, we volunteer for that. We do it all on our own time. But we have, rank. We use the Army ranking system. We wear the same uniform, as the Army. And we have the same traditions as the Army, but we're a volunteer force more than anything. So
what prompted you at 38 to join the Texas State Army? Like, well, how did that come about? I mean,
that's such an interesting story. So I was my grandfather's from Sicily.
Oh,
right.
we're talking. See, we told you Italians are all over the place.
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
And my grandmother is Native American, and so just a little bit about the family history so you understand where it comes from is my grandmother's seventh great-grandfather was the leader of the Iroquois Confederacy and spoke for the Six Nations. And so he was also George Washington's personal translator. So there's a couple of books out about Tana Creason and George Washington. And if you read them, you'll know that Tana Creason and George Washington actually single-handedly started the French and Indian War. And so after that, I've had family that has served in every generation of my family since the Civil and Revolutionary Wars. And so my grandfather and his 4 cousins wrote our family history book and included the Native American culture in there, even though we're primarily Sicilian. So we're like the Godfather, right? There's 5 families and all of this, and
like Cosa Nostra.
Yeah, leave the gun, take the cannoli kind of thing, So,
I love it. Keep it going, man. Audience is picking up on this. Michael Pecorini is now watching. Nice, Michael.
So I was gifted this book, and it's like that thick, right? And I was gifted this book when I was 25, but I didn't read it until he was 32, and he passed away when I was 26. So I read this book when I'm 32, and I discovered that this is a huge tradition in our family. And my uncle was Navy, my father was a Marine. We've got it all going all the way back in through history of America. And I kind of started to think about like my siblings and my bonehead cousins, and I thought I was like, none of us have served, and so the tradition breaks here, right? So I was 32 at the time, and so I said I'm gonna, because you got to be financially able to do something like that, right? So, I got a second job. I saved up a bunch of money, and I said I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna go into the military. So, like you said, even though I'm a specimen,
and he's a fossil.
There is an age out process for active duty, and this is what I discovered. And so I said, well, they said you can go reserves. So I kind of went through this process over a number of years, and I had to take the ASVAB and all of this.
Yep.
And I went to MEPS 4 times. Now I'm considerably older than everyone else that's kind of, coming in. And they said, well, you got this great ASVAB score and you've passed all the physicals and all. I had a 91 ASVAB score, so I could have done anything in the military. And they said, but we can't take you because you don't have any peripheral vision. And I was like, you do know that I teach guns for a whole ass living. Did you miss that part on my application?
I think they did.
Okay, because I don't really think that matters.
Right. Yeah.
But they said, no, you can't. We can't take you because you don't have any peripheral vision. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine. So I was super heartbroken. Well, then my recruiter called me, and she said, you can appeal this decision, but you're going to age out before you get an answer because that's just how the government works. They're very slow.
Yeah.
So I was super heartbroken about it. And then she calls me up 6 months later, and she said, hey, you ever heard of the Texas State Guard? And I was like, no. She goes, not a lot of people have. So she was like, let me tell you about it. So she tells me about it, and she was like, they don't have a lot of the same protocols that regular national military has, right?
Sure.
And so I went through that process, and they created a master trainer position for me. So I teach all kinds of stuff. I go to the battalion. There's 5 battalions in Texas. I go to all the battalions. I teach them, and then I'm getting ready to train with search and rescue. Okay. So boats are.
Oh, awesome.
So it's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah. It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It really does.
So, I mean, it's like I can't wait to get out there and kick ass at SAR at 40 years old. So you're never too old to know that.
No, that's
you're
true.
never too old.
He's 69 tomorrow.
To live your dream.
I agree with you.
Okay. So if you were sitting to my left thinking that there was nothing left for you, it's right here. It's right here in front of you. What are you doing for dinner?
There we go. That's good, though.
You don't see a
That's
ring
an
on this finger, do you?
interesting story. Oh. Well, I don't know who's watching here now, We'll talk later.
I think his son is, but
So yeah, and then I just I got I was teaching guns randomly, and I got I got some guys down in East Texas asked me if I would help them work on a gun range, and then they bought an existing cigar lounge from a guy that was retiring, and they said, do you want to be a part of this? And I said, well, I do love cigars, and they knew that about me, and so we did that. And then Jim has been my friend for a long time, and we played in a veterans celebrity softball game together at Globe Life Field. They had this really great event in June, and he said, I'm doing this cigar lounge concept, man. I'd love for you to come aboard and help out. And I'm not an expert on cigars by any stretch of the imagination. I've just been smoking them for a long time.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, a lot more women are smoking cigars now more than ever.
Becoming more trendy now.
And even more than that, I think that one of the coolest things that I love about just the culture around it, and I think that why I did it, because I didn't really even get into cigar smoking, and I was in my early 20s. I was in oil and gas. I was a field ops manager for an oil and gas company, so I had to travel around to all these shales and deal with all these dudes, and if you didn't smoke cigars, hunt, and drink bourbon, they didn't fucking want to talk to you.
Right, yeah.
Okay? It didn't matter how hot you were. They're like, go away. It didn't matter. So, excuse my French. I don't know if we can say that.
That was French, yes. That was French.
Don't worry. This is only going out to 53 countries. Don't worry about it.
That's fine.
They might not know the F word.
Yeah. So I had to take a crash course in all of those things, and now they're all the things I love. I mean, I've been hunting since I was 12. I've been shooting since I was 12, so that was no problem.
Texan?
So I am.
You are.
Okay.
I am. I grew up very far East Texas, almost to Louisiana.
Okay.
So we hunted before school. We hunted after school. I was on a competition shotgun team in high school.
Good for you. So
I got family in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Yeah.
They're right over the
right
border.
across the border. So
Have you ever made the trip back to Sicily to see Some of the family?
Actually,
They
I was
shoot a lot over there, too, you know.
you know, it's just they just shooting different things.
Yes.
Well, they're animals. You
Shooting
know?
different animals over there. They are. Yeah, so I got the crash course in all this in my early 20s when I was in oil and gas, and I just ended up really loving it. And the culture is so cool because I've never, in the 20 years I've been smoking cigars, I've heard people talk about all kinds of things around a stick. Mm-hmm. Everything. Politics, abortion, money, racism,
everything, no matter who you are.
And I've never heard anybody get stanky about it, uncivilized.
Right.
About it.
Right.
And I think that's something that the cigar culture really brings. And so I really feel like, if all the world leaders would just sit around, like at the G6 summit or whatever the hell that is, right?
Yeah.
If they would just have a big ass table and everybody would just have a Blanco sitting around with a bourbon, or a wine, or a rum, even, right? A good scotch, right?
All the world's problems could go away.
A scotch that's old enough to order its own scotch. Do you hear me today? Okay? I think that we would be able to solve the world's problems in like a week.
Preach.
In a week.
Absolutely.
But then you get into arguments about which year scotch is better,
That's fine. Yeah, you bring in some good liquor.
Here's the man coming.
Yeah, some good liquor. You bring in.
She's lying.
She lying everything about you? So you're not a nice
Good
guy?
liquor.
I know. I was singing your
cigars.
praises over here. I was trying to get a dinner date and singing your praises. Yeah. So. He's jealous that I'm not hitting on him.
Oh.
Well, I'm okay with it,
Just don't tell him what I said about it.
But you're flying out of here real soon.
Yeah, you're leaving
not
tomorrow?
even going to be around for dinner. They're flying tonight.
No, we're flying in the morning.
Oh, I thought you said you're
No,
out
we're
of here.
staying tonight. We're here for the whole ass show, man. We're like,
oh, okay.
yeah. When David told me he was doing this, I was like, I booked my flight immediately.
Nice.
Well, I heard when the sun goes down is when it starts really getting freaky out
Oh, the
here.
sun is out now, folks.
But but it's going to set.
Out there. There might be a good time for a drone.
This was not the Florida weather that I had originally envisioned, but now it's getting there, and the sky
It wasn't ours either, that's for sure.
Yeah, the sky is good. So this sassy Sicilian bitch came on the show, and from Texas.
Pretty cool.
And here we are.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
What town in Sicily is the family from? Do you know?
We're from right outside of Paloma.
Paloma. Mm-hmm. Not familiar. What?
Right outside of Paloma. Paloma's right on the coast there.
Okay.
I believe it's maybe East Coast there.
Okay.
You can fly
Paloma's
there
got
into
its own airport.
Paloma.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's not a big place.
Look who it is. What's up? Sorry, one of our past guests.
Yeah, it's not a big place. But you know what? Let's talk a little bit more about women in cigars. Let's talk about what this is about.
Sounds good.
We want to talk about that.
Why do we think that it's? Why do we think it's picking up? Why do we think it's becoming a thing?
I think it's becoming more socially acceptable.
Okay.
I think that's what I've been seeing is like it's more like the approval of it is.
I think also that women know that's where men are, and I think that's a great location for a pickup.
Okay, so if we were going to revise the 1950s version of How to Get a Man,
There we go.
that Time magazine came out
Not
with.
slippers and a bourbon. It's a bourbon and a cigar.
Yes.
There we go.
Got it. So instead of us pouring you a bourbon and getting you a cigar, maybe you guys are bringing us some slippers and
We'd
stuff.
be happy
maybe,
to.
Hey,
absolutely.
Why not?
Maybe that's happening. I like
No
that.
problem with that.
I like that.
But absolutely,
No,
women are jumping in,
it's
and also cigars are being made for women's palates.
I agree with that. I think that I like a more peppery cigar. I've never really been a flavored cigar person. In the beginning, I was because I think that the people that were helping me out, like trying to help me figure it out, thought that would be what I would like, and it wasn't bad in the beginning. But I think that the flavored cigars with that sort of cheap tobacco, and you wake up the next morning and it's like a cat shit sandwich in your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want that. So,
well, you're supposed to brush your teeth.
you
before
know,
you
it's
go to
like,
bed,
so, you know, it's just so much. It's just like, it's like grows in there, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's supposed to do.
And so I think that I just, you know, I got really quick into, I got a very snotty about what I would smoke really quickly, I think.
Educated.
You know.
Educated.
And there's something to be said. When you're smoking a nice premium cigar, you know, it's not going to leave that nasty aftertaste in your mouth.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons that we are seeing an uptick in this is I think that we are living in a time where we are seeing more women do commerce in male industries, in industries that were considered very male dominated.
Yes.
And if cigars were part of that culture, women are kind of becoming a more like amenable to it or open to it. Maybe they didn't know about it before. I think that there was like I think in the decades past there was a divide in, you know, what married couples would do together, right? So you watch Mad Men, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There was a divide in what couples would do together. And I think that now, couples they're getting married later, right? They're having kids later, but they're also doing more things together. And this is one of the things, right? This is one of the things. Yeah. And I think, you know, and you have a lot of women that are getting into the bourbon and scotches. You have a female master distillers. You have like, so I think it's just because I think it's becoming a clash of cultures.
Well, and not to say anything, but women have a better palate. They can pick up on things better than a man can.
They're also better shooters, but we won't go there.
Oh, wow.
All right, I'm good with that.
Well, when you talk to Mayor Ross, you can ask him about the fact that he challenged me to a shooting competition, which is foolish. If we're honest, but we'll call into the show and we'll let you know how that works out. But here's the bet. You know.
Yeah, take a card so you can make sure we're live every Tuesday night.
We're gonna call you and tell you about it because. You know, when he presented it to me, I feel like he had one too many vodkas, and you know, but who am I not to take an advantage of an easy win?
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely, it sounds right. We're gonna have to bring him on here when he's finishing with his meal, and we'll talk to him about that. What do you think?
Heck yeah.
We're going to put him on the spot. We'll make him turn red.
I didn't know that a guy who ran an entire major city in the DFW Metroplex could make such a foolish decision.
Well, men with a few drinks will always make foolish decisions.
Well, yes. When you get some alcohol flowing, the stupidity comes out. So
this is true. This is true.
So, like, tell me how this show came about. Like, tell me how do you guys know each other?
Well, this is my brother Bob.
Yep.
This is my cousin Frank.
And I'm the outsider.
And he's the outsider, Kyle.
So and we are pipe and cigar smokers.
So originally this show had made its roots on an FM station.
I've been doing radio for 15 years.
We used to be on WLCB LP 101.5 out of, was that Salem, Wisconsin? Burlington, Wisconsin.
Okay.
So up north.
So my mother's from Green Bay.
Oh.
Or La Crosse, actually, or La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had started on there, and being an LP, which is a low power, so we don't have very much reach, other radio stations can have the same frequency, and they sometimes compete. We were the #1 rated show at the radio station, which draw more attention to our show. And since we talked about tobacco, alcohol, and sometimes pricing and stuff like that,
well, the
FAA wouldn't allow us to talk
so
about
there was
they don't like that.
The competing station that we had in that area was a very Christian station.
Got it.
And so anonymously they had tips to the FCC about what we were talking about.
Oh, so we're going to sit here and pretend like Jesus didn't drink wine.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, to that point.
At that point, and rather than bringing that station down, we as a collective decided
they asked us if we would start the first podcast for the station.
Okay.
And so
podcasting is like the Wild Wild West. So you can talk about whatever you want to, and it doesn't matter.
You can say the F word because I got away with that.
Yes, and we
not
do.
even asked.
yeah, he'll cut that out later. But
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
But that's that. So that it was in 2018 when we decided to do the podcast show. It was originally just the three of us. And then we would bring in Cousin Frank on as like a guest spot. And
Are you Cousin Frank?
Yeah, this is Cousin Frank. And so
very handsome.
you got to take her out to dinner.
Yeah.
Wait a minute,
I'll stay an extra night to go to dinner with Cousin Frank.
You got dessert.
Baby, I've changed my flight.
So that's what we did. We went podcast, so we're able to just talk freely like we're talking now.
Yeah.
And
and
now we're
it
in
took
53
off.
countries around the world.
It literally took off for us.
Well, this is the first cigar podcast I've ever done. I usually do a lot of Second Amendment and gun podcasts because I teach all over the country. But this was,
One of my good friends owns Second Amendment in McHenry, and he's one of the largest gun dealerships in the country.
Love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I love it. Women are really getting into that too. This has been a really cool time to be alive and see it because, my younger 20s self was always very cognizant of, I'm a chick, I live alone. I grew up around guns, so it was never a question. And then, but it kind of shocked me a little bit, going through my 20s and like kind of seeing, friends that I would make and women that I was around that just really had no clue about the importance of their safety, situational awareness, even the most foundational thing, right? Yeah. And I do a lot of personal protection. I'm level 4 in Texas, so I do a lot of PPO work and stuff, and I do some PI work every now and then, and I'll do ballistic stuff I do ballistic testing for Winchester for every now and then, and I do things for like lawyers that need to prove that they're doing gun cases and they need to look at this police report and tell me if this, I do some of that every now and then. And Jim's actually, Mayor Ross is a lawyer by trade. So he would have a lot to say about this too if he was sitting here. But it was really I was embarrassed, honestly, for my gender, in my 20s, like not really understanding like how this wasn't, normal. But a lot of people that grow up in urban areas or in heavily populated areas don't really get that kind of training. It's not part of their culture. We've really moved it out of being normal, which is really sad. And so now you have a culture, which bugs me to death, of when you come across a woman that knows how to shoot or a woman that carries, like, and then she gets fawned over for having this knowledge, right? And so that's the mission. Like I own a company called Clearing the Chamber, and I go teach women how to shoot, and I get them really comfortable carrying every day because that's the goal. And that's the mission is I want to teach so many women how to shoot that it's not cool anymore. Mm-hmm. That it's not a thing to be fawned over, anymore. Because really one of the things that a lot of people don't think about, and if you're listening to the show right now and you have a wife or a girlfriend or a mom, you really need to start thinking about this in your personal relationships, because women, the burden of child protection actually falls more on the mother than the father. Because especially in nuclear families, but you got a lot of single moms now too, right, than ever before. Yeah. And so when you are the person who's spending the bulk of the time with the children, and if you're in a nuclear family, it's usually because the husband is working or traveling for work or whatever, and the mom's with the kids, or if you're a single mom, obviously, you're with your kids all the time. Yeah. You are the one who is responsible for the physical protection of the kids. And I got myself in a little bit of a mischief in a Facebook moms group one time, because this was a few years ago, and this lady posted, and she was like, give me your most unpopular opinion.
There you go.
Like, that's not opening up for disaster in a mom's group. And there was a lot of different answers. Like, there were fun answers, like I like pineapple on pizza, and
that's the person you shoot.
Yeah. And
First shot.
Yes.
Fill the hole right there.
Yeah. And then there was a lot of, Team Jacob versus Team Edward, from Twilight and stuff. And I chimed in and, I may have had a bourbon or two.
Maybe
We don't
3 or
know.
4.
We don't know.
We lost track after 5.
And I said, if you're a mom and you don't get self-defense training, I think you're lazy.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think you're lazy. And
Sure.
it can be whatever you want it to be, right?
Yeah.
If you want to
Yeah.
hone in the situational awareness, if you're not a weapons person, that's okay. But it's not just about you anymore. You're bringing an innocent life into this world that can't defend themselves, and you're farming out your safety to somebody else who isn't with you 24/7, and you know that.
Yeah.
And so the laws of physics dictate that the only people who can purposefully respond to a situation of duress are the people that are already there.
Yep.
And if he's not there, if he's in Kentucky
Yeah.
and you're in Texas, you can't sing the insurance song and he just appears. It doesn't work like that. And so
Right.
you got to figure this out. And so women have to come to this reality that you have to take this on for yourself, and you have to be your best first responder, the best advocate for your safety. And then, furthermore, it just becomes a situation of, you can't let the fear win, and you really have to get, this kind of education if you want to keep yourself safe, and farming it out is just, it's not going to work, right? And there's no safe places. There's only safe people. And I get moms that come and take my class all the time, and they like to talk all this shit about being mama bear, and but Jerah, I would die for my kids. Well, that's not what I asked you. I didn't ask you if you would die for your kids. That's great. I hope so. You're a mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
But would you protect
But
the
I'm
kid?
I'm asking, can me as a mom take on you and win? Can I kick somebody's ass for my kids? That's where we're going for. Like, can you physically take on a threat for your children and win? That's the question I'm asking you.
Can you live?
Well, I think
for
most
your-
women have a fear of firearms. It's
They
just
do.
like they won't even go near it.
Instilled in them by an ignorant, uneducated society and a purposefully tyrannical media.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You're
I agree.
100% right.
Because there's
Absolutely.
there's absolutely nothing to fear when it comes to firearms if you're taught correctly. I carry every day. I get asked all the time. Women come to my class, they're like, well, what if it just goes off in my pants? It just doesn't do that,
No.
honey.
No. No.
That's not how mechanics work.
Yes.
It just doesn't work like that, right? And so I'm so uncomfortable right now because I don't have it.
Right.
It's
Neither do
part
I.
of me. It's
I'm
part of
always
my. It's like, spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch.
Yeah.
Gun.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't say testicles.
I just wanted you to know I could say a multi-syllable word.
Very nice word, yes. But
So,
yes, when you don't have it near you, you feel naked.
I do.
Really, really. Because
Yeah.
you're always going like, oh, wow, it's not
I
there.
do. You never know. I have a very observant nature, and I want that's really what I want is I want more women carrying guns and smoking cigars and drinking bourbon and living their best life if that's what they want. But at the same time, you have to come to the reality of the situation of it really does lay on you to protect kids and to protect people and to protect yourself. Nobody's going to help you. People are more likely to film you
Then rather help.
than
Oh, yeah.
anything.
And run away.
Even men, when they see a woman just getting her absolute ass whooped in the middle of a parking lot, they're not going to help her. But, have we not created a society of weak males?
Yes, we've been feminized.
Have we
teachers.
not?
Not even
Couldn't
go
agree with
there.
you.
Have we not created that?
And our
So-
government has a big
It's the
part of doing that.
pussification of America, man. It really is.
100%, and it's really sad to see him. Why do you think I'm single? I'm 40. Baby.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't
Single
settling.
at 40, yeah,
I ain't
I mean-
settling for nobody less than this dude or cousin Frank.
There you
All
go.
right, here we go.
There you go. Unbelievable.
Hey, listen. If you can't charm me like this dude, if you can't grow a beard like these men right here, I don't want it. I don't want it. You know what it is? Growing a beard takes patience.
Yep.
The kind of patience it takes to put up with my bullshit.
And that's
I need
years in the
that.
making.
Oh,
Years.
man, oh, man.
Yes.
Okay?
Well, you got to be a certain type of guy to make this woman satisfied.
That's what I'm
for sure.
talking about. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking
I
about.
hear
So
you.
it's a lot of preliminary questions.
All right.
Can we dance around it, or is it going to be right?
It's black and white. There's no gray area, Bob. It's black and white.
So what's your favorite smoke? What does everybody like to smoke?
You know what? There's so many out there. There really are so many. But we are here
Full
at the
body
Blanco.
cigars, though. I'm a full body cigar guy.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
For me, it depends on what I'm drinking.
It's the time of the day.
Well, I'm always drinking bourbon, so I like full body cigars.
But what kind of bourbon? So, like, to me, because I don't drink. I drink it straight no matter what. Like, I don't put it on a block. I don't put it on the rocks, right? It's to me, if I can't drink it straight, I don't want it, right? So if it's something that's super peppery, like a super heavy bourbon, I'm probably going to go like a little bit more lighter on the cigar, like maybe a Connecticut or something like that.
Sure.
But if I'm doing something like, Angel's Envy Rye, okay, I'm hitting a Maduro every time.
Okay.
Right.
But you got to be careful,
like,
though, too, because some of those Connecticut's, they can pack a punch.
Some of
They're
them
deceiving.
They can.
They're
If you try a
deceiving.
Carenberger, Connecticut, or a Caffey 1901 Connecticut, let me tell you,
Very good smoke.
I just learned of Karen.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
When
really?
we opened the humidor, her rep came in,
Bruce?
and we learned of her. No, it was not Bruce.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Well,
Nope,
yeah.
it was not Bruce.
Bruce is like just Karen's
Well, it's the general
sidekick, but
manager.
he's got all his
But,
reps
yeah,
out
if
there.
you-
Hey, do I need to hop off here?
No.
No,
Do I need
no,
to hop
no.
off?
No.
No.
I didn't know if you
no.
had somebody else lined up, and I'm like, I'm just sitting over here.
No.
This is what Sicilians do.
That's it.
We
We start talking and we never
Audience,
stop, Frank.
the audience is engaged. They want to know more.
They want to know more. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just when I need to get out of the chair, just tell me.
Don't worry about
Be
it.
like, hey, just be like, woman, get up. Woman, get up.
No.
That's
That's all
No,
good.
no,
That's
no.
good.
Okay.
Frank's going to Frank is
Don't
going to
let
track
Frank.
down another
Don't let
cigar.
Frank fool you. You're in charge. Yeah. Don't let Frank fool you. You're in charge.
I love it. But I dig Karen's Connecticut line. Love the Monte Cristo White Series line. But like on the heavier side, like I love this is my favorite Blanco that I've smoked so far, but I have not smoked them all.
Well, try to chew.
Now
Try
I had
to
the
choose.
Prince. I had the Prince Hall
Okay.
too, and I've had this one, and then I think I had the Cigar Obsession as well.
Try
But
the number
You got to
9.
try the 9
the number 9.
Yeah.
The
number
number
9
9
That is
Chooch.
fat, and he's got
Nice,
that.
bold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Very
Excellent.
good. Very good taste.
I'm a big fan of the Saka line.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Love
Oh,
Steve
well, he just
Saka.
came out with
Yeah.
4
The
new
Stillwell
lines.
Stars.
The Stillwell Stars. If you get hold of that.
Sin Compromiso is what's in my humidor right now, but
Okay. Well, Steve, he knows how to make cigars.
Oh, yeah.
There's no
he
question
does.
about
But
it.
but I know I've got the other stuff like I've got the Liga 9s in there, and the there's a couple of my cousins. She just started smoking, and she's a big Gurkha fan.
okay.
Okay.
She went down
All
the
right.
Gurkha pathway.
The Ghost is one of the best ones that
Ghost
I
is
like.
excellent.
The Ghost
Yeah.
is a very, very good Gurkha smoke.
Yeah, she had to start smoking after I taught her how to shoot guns. It was very stressful for her.
So she needed to smoke to
She needed
relax.
to start smoking. I was like, girl, here.
Now you need to get the bourbon in her hand.
There you
Yeah.
go.
She likes bourbon. She doesn't like it as heavy as I like it. She likes the TX whiskey. You know, she's that life. I'm from Texas, and I don't care. I'll say I don't like TX whiskey.
I don't think I've ever had the TX whiskey.
It's gross. Don't do
Yeah.
it. It's
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. I won't go there and do that then.
I don't care. I don't care if they get mad. I don't care if they get mad. I'm packing. I don't care.
I'm packing. Even while drinking, I'm still packing.
But I love the. But there's always stuff to try. My God, there's so many cigar lines out there.
Yeah,
I'm a big
absolutely.
fan. My father's the Judge.
Oh, yeah,
I love the Judge.
AJ's got
Yes.
a great line. Try the Ace Prime line.
Okay.
Get it in
Yeah.
there.
Dominique
It's,
Wilkins, the MXS line is.
Or Tiago Splitter, which is part of the
Yeah.
San
Oh, yeah.
Antonio.
The really good
he used
one,
to
too.
be a
Excellent
basketball.
smokes.
He's partner
Excellent.
of Ace Prime, and you're gonna like him.
Yeah.
Pachardo is their tobacconist with Luciano.
Yep.
And
they get the
if you get
Pachardo
that
line
one,
too.
get
That's
that
a
in
very
there.
good one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
When
got-
I go back home to East Texas and it's the end of the night and all we got left is some Kentucky Deluxe, I'll light up a dirt torpedo,
Oh, there
call it
you
a
go.
night.
There you
Call
go.
it a night.
Cat shit sandwich.
Nice brisket there, you know.
That's what we do. That's what we do in East Texas. There's a cigar for every kind of event,
Absolutely.
every situation.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Every
For sure.
situation.
For sure.
Now, what was your background? So I did a little bit of radio.
Okay.
It wasn't. So there's a little station in Dallas called The Ticket,
Ticket? Okay.
sports radio.
Well, that's what I
and-
do. I do sports.
Well, I was in, and then I did a podcast with Daryl Hamilton for a little while he was still alive.
Very nice.
Oh, wow.
we did a little. I was dating a guy that was the offensive coordinator for West Virginia University. So I walk in. I got to tell you the story. It's so funny. So it's Oregon's playing Auburn in the BCS championship.
Oh, big game.
Okay, in the 2000s, right?
Yep.
In my 20s, and my friend Sally was a Oregon Ducks fan, and so she says, "You got to go watch the game with me." So we go to this bar in Dallas called the Nodding Donkey. Okay. And
Love the name.
Yeah. And we walk in, and she's Oregon ducked out, man. Like, you know, I got like a flannel button down on. Like, I'm not trying to impress anybody, whatever. I don't even care about this game. And we walk in, and we're literally like 2 of 5 chicks in the whole place, and it's packed. And they're all wearing different college gear. And I'm like, what in the hell is going on in this place? And so I look around, and I see this guy at the bar in a West Virginia pullover, and I walk up, and I'm like, tap, tap, tap. You know, he turns around, and I'm like, hey, what the hell is going on here? I was like, I have never seen such a sea of beautiful men in my life, and I just need to know, like, am I dead? What is happening? Okay, like, what is happening? And he goes, oh, it's the coaches' convention. Coaches' convention was in Dallas that year, so all the college coaches, like, come in, right? Nick Saban's there. Josh Heupel, who won the BCS championship for OU, became a coach, was there, right? And I'm like, oh, my God, this is freaking amazing. So, anyway, I meet Shannon Dawson. We date for a little bit. We're still friends to this day. But he calls me up, and then, you know, after that, and he was like, hey, do you want to go on this recruiting trip with me? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to go on this recruiting trip with you. So, and, you know, remember, I'm a Green Bay fan. So we meet in Houston, and we go around to all these high schools in Texas, and I get to learn about how they recruit ball players for D1 scholarships, right? And so we're in this big ass van, and we're like driving out of Houston, and that's how I met Daryl Hamilton.
Okay.
And he was do you know who he is? Everybody know who he is? He used to play baseball for the Rangers and the Rockies.
Yep.
He's not with us any longer, but so, you know, he and I are talking sports, and like we're spitting out stats and stuff. And then Alonzo Highsmith was in the van with us, who used University of Miami football player that recruited for the Green Bay Packers. So of course, you know, I'm like bending his ear and stuff. And so that's really kind of how I got into it. And then I was a pharmacy technician at the time, right? And I worked for CVS Corporation, so I would go around to all the stores. And
Another CVS person.
Another one.
Yeah, I would open up CVS stores, and I was my boss was a huge. He was an LSU fan, but he was a big ticket head. He would listen to the ticket every day, and it was so annoying because all we did was listen to sports radio all day, every day. Whenever he came in, like all day. I mean, I love sports, but can we get some music? You know what I'm saying? Can a girl get some Led Zeppelin every now and then?
Nice.
Or something?
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
So he said. So they say on the ticket, they're like, this is when they were starting. So they have every year they have what's called Fight Night.
Okay.
And they do it. They started doing it at Lone Star Park, which is the big horse race track in Grand Prairie, Texas. And then they moved it to a different venue. But they were having it at Lone Star Park at the time. And they said, you know, we need chicks who want to fight, like who want to box or whatever, right? And I've been doing Muay Thai for like 2 years, right? And I studied under Saxon Janjira in Plano. And so my boss says, you go out there and you try out for this. He was like, and I will let you off like 2 hours early for every shift for the next week.
Nice.
Right?
What a deal.
So I go down there, I try out, they say we're gonna fight, you're gonna fight, okay? So what they do is they have all these different cards, right? Just like a regular boxing match, right? But it's all funny, right? So they've got like blindfolded dudes that are trying to kick each other's ass, and they've got midgets, and they got like big fat dudes, like sumo wrestler guys that are coming out, right? But the ticket, the main event is always the chicks that fight, right? So they don't tell me who I'm fighting because it's celebrity boxing, right? And they don't tell me who I'm fighting until I go in to do the radio interview. It's Kevin Von Erich's daughter that I'm fighting. Okay, Kevin Von Erich's daughter. And let me tell you something, and I'll talk shit to her to this day, I don't care. Because she was a dumbass. Okay, she was so dumb. And so, but I was worried at first. I was kind of worried, right? Because I grew up watching the Von Erich legacy, right? And so, anyway, we're being interviewed, and like she's talking trash and I'm talking trash, but really I'm kind of worried because she's pretty tall and she's got probably a 2 or 3 inch reach on me, right? But then we go to the pre-fight meeting, and I have to show you a picture when we get done with this because it's hysterical, because she walks right into an uppercut. Like, that's how I ended her. Right? She had no boxing experience. That was the problem. What we were doing was boxing, right? And she broke 3 of my ribs in my chest. She broke part of my sternum because she kicked me when I was trying to get up, right? Like, so we had gone down and I was trying to get up. She kicked me. And they wanted to disqualify her. So they brought in this ref that actually does boxing matches in Las Vegas. And he was like, "You're done. You're disqualified." And I'm like, "No, we got 2 more rounds, honey." And I'm mad. Okay. And so, but in the pre-fight meeting, and they're putting the gloves on, and we were fighting with like heavier gloves, like 16-ounce gloves.
Okay.
Right. So you weren't really gonna hit, hurt each other that bad, unless you kick somebody in the chest, whatever. I'm fine. But I woke up the next morning and I couldn't breathe, and I was like, "What's going on?" And I had to go get X-rayed, and they're like, "You broke like some ribs right here, in your sternum."
Wow.
And so anyway, she said in the pre-fight meeting they're taping our gloves on, and she was like, "Excuse me, like can we take these off at any point in the fight?"
What?
And at the time, she worked at Hooters. And so this is what she shows up with to fight me. She fights me in her Hooters outfit. She's got her little orange shorts on and everything. God. And I'm just like,
boy.
I was like, I can't even take this woman seriously. And the ref that's explaining, he kind of looks at her like this, and I'm like, "I got it, brother." I was like, yes, you can. I was like, if you can get the tape off the glove and the glove off, and try to do like your daddy's iron claw on me before I straight up whoop that ass. The answer is yes. Yes, you can do it. I want to see it. Everybody wants to see it. It's fine. So like 5,000 people show up to Lone Star Park. So we fight in front of 5,000 people. And it was just an absolute chaotic mess. And then that was just what ended it right then. And she just literally was like charging me, and I just was like, boop, bop. And there was like, and they caught it. The photographer caught it at the perfect moment, and you can see it. And it was so great. And then after that, they gave me where I was going with that story is they gave me an internship at the sports radio station. So I interned for the Bob and Dan show after that.
Wow,
awesome.
That's cool.
Which led to the podcast with Daryl and all
that
this.
is so cool. Very
Great
cool.
Story.
Very
Story. Well, that's
very fun times.
I bet it was. You never talk any more radio sports after that, or?
At the time, it wasn't a super inviting arena for women. It's much better now. And I think had I stuck with it, I probably would have had a really great career, but they would have had to put me like on HBO or something, because I would have been
pay-per-view.
Yeah, because I can tell you right now that there are coaches that I would have probably punched in the face just for their ridiculous habits. Okay, I can tell you right now, I'd be the Seahawks coach and this gum chewing thing that he does all day long.
Pat Carroll.
Okay.
Pete Carroll, this guy, all day long on the field. I'm like, stop it. Killing me over here. I'm getting a tick, right? I'm getting like Forrest Whitaker eye just watching you for 4 quarters doing that on the sidelines, And then, I would have asked some pretty intense questions about some ridiculous play calling and poor time clock management that probably would have got me in some trouble. Yeah. But outside of that, I don't know. I don't necessarily have any regrets over it, but I do enjoy talking sports. So
good,
nice,
good. It's a lot of fun.
So you're going to join the political arena? I mean, that's you're.
So I
traveling with a certain person.
He ran, and I'll let him tell you the bulk of the story. But he's an attorney in Arlington, and he knew the previous mayor who had termed out. And he wasn't originally going to run, and he looked at the ballot, and there were 3 felons running for mayor of Arlington.
How can you run if you're a felon?
Because things have changed, Bob. Yeah. Things have changed.
Don't ask me because I don't know. But and so Jim was like, I can't let this happen, and so he kind of off the cuff did a campaign and ended up winning. But
good,
thank God.
I don't, I'm really vocal about certain areas of politics. There's a lot that I don't know. For instance, I'm not an economics major, right? I don't own a house, so I don't really talk a lot about property taxes. I don't have kids in school, so I don't necessarily talk a lot about the educational system. But I do go down and testify on Second Amendment and gun rights stuff. I think that we need more women doing that, that can speak intelligently about it. And I will, that is one thing that I will tell you that I'm very confident about. I will take on any politician that wants to talk to me about gun control. I've challenged Beto O'Rourke to a debate. He has yet to respond.
Well, he never will.
And he never will, because
That
he
idiot
will lose.
will never respond.
He will 100% absolutely bite the dust lose. Because there's just you just won't win with that with me.
I'll tell you this, if gun control really worked, Chicago would be the safest city in the world.
100%. 100%. So,
and New York would be sunken.
So politics isn't something that I want to get into, but I think if I saw that I could really do some good in the arenas that I know about, I would do state, Senate, Congress, maybe.
Yeah.
I think House of Representatives in Texas is probably where I would fit the best, because they're the ones that pass these kind of bills.
Yeah.
For states' rights when it comes to gun control and things like that. So I think that may be where I'm headed, if anywhere.
Nice.
But
Yeah, definitely consider it.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
we need
beautiful.
more women, and we need people who have some intelligence of what's going on out there.
I'll vote
Yeah.
for
And
you.
we
Don't
have
worry about
we have to save the Second Amendment.
I did. I testified at the gun rights hearings. They had them at Brookhaven College in Dallas in 2018, and it was a really. I wrote an article actually for Gun News Daily after that, because one of the guys, one of the state representatives that was on the panel for that was Pancho Navarez, who has he's the state representative that has the largest contiguous area in the nation. Like, that his district is enormous. It's all like most of West Texas.
Okay.
And he was sitting on that panel, and he's very pro-gun control. He was rude and terse with panelists. He was generally ignorant and unaware. And then we found out after that was over that he had actually gotten busted for cocaine possession at the Austin airport.
Oh, wow.
And everybody was trying to cover for this guy. And so we found out about it, and man, I'm telling you, I waxed him. Man, I waxed him across the floor with that article that I wrote in Gun News Daily, because I'm like, this is the kind of shit that pisses us off. Is like how many and he was on a lot of really important committees that made decisions for Homeland Security in Texas, with us being a border state. So he was on that committee, and in various others that were really important to our state security, especially. And I'm sitting here asking, like, well, how many important decisions have you made while you're high on coke? Like, snort another line, homie.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
What are you doing with your life? And
Yeah.
why are people think it's cool to cover for you? So I don't know. But there's a lot to be said about questioning the process, because I think that's the problem is we have, when it comes to firearms especially, and pandemic processes like what we've seen over the last year and a half, is we have to always question the process, especially when it doesn't make logical and logistical sense. But especially with guns, the process of well, you can't carry here, but you can carry here, and the idea that we should be limited really at all in the places that we can carry is asinine to me. Especially if we look where active shooters go.
Yep. Oh yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And so we always need to question the process, but we need to be able to articulate that. And I think that there's a lot of women that want to stand up for this, but they don't really know how to testify, on behalf of it. But if you're going to testify, you need to know what you're talking about. And it can't just be, well, it's my right. Like, that's going to fall on deaf ears, right? In situations like that, where you have, House Representative panelists that hear that crap all the time. You really have to come at it, at a different angle, and be able to speak intelligently to it, especially from, a person that carries everyday standpoint. And, in Texas, it's really crazy because we just got rid of license to carry, but when we had it, we went to constitutional carry. But when we had license to carry, less than 5% of the Texas population even had one.
Okay.
But you had over half of the population that were gun owners.
Sure.
So the program itself didn't work, but it did give us this statistical data to go less than 5% of the Texas population, has a license to carry. Only 2.4% of the Texas population claims to carry every day. And how many of the 2.4% do you think are women?
Very, very small.
Okay.
0.8.
right?
Yeah.
So you have a fraction of a fraction of a fraction
Yeah.
of a populace in one of the biggest states in the United States that are carriers, that are women, and yet, as we discussed before, we are the primary caregivers of children, which means that we are primarily responsible for the physical protection of children. And so it is really important, and this is not a feminist rant, this is not a bra burning rant. This is simple, absolute truth when we're talking about women and physical safety and physical safety of children. It is up to us, and we have to start assuming responsibility for it, and we have to quit pretending like we don't have a duty to make this part of our lifestyle.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good reason for you to get into politics. I mean, just get the word out.
Well,
I mean, your voice would mean a lot here.
Absolutely. You need to make a decision and do that.
I mean, that's the hardest part. I mean, especially being in Illinois. I mean, we have concealed carry.
In case you want to start lighting up.
And stuff like
I'm
that.
not talking too much, haven't I?
But
No, that's all good.
I can tell you this. I mean, I'm a concealed carry, and I carry every day pretty much. But especially going into certain places that you'll see, like the no gun signs or whatever. You know, it's hard. Well, it's hard for me. Like sometimes you have to go in there, and I just take the stance. I was like, I'm gonna carry in there regardless. It's concealed. You're not gonna know I have it.
That's right.
But I'm always gonna protect myself.
Right. That's the number one.
But that's why we have to know the law.
Yeah.
That's why it's very important even to just get that classroom legal education, because you don't know. We need to know the law so that we can abide by it when it makes sense, and so we understand the loopholes of it when it doesn't make sense.
Right.
And then we retain people like Mayor Jim Ross to defend us in court when we get busted.
Yeah.
I like that. You think the mayor's going to have some time for us? You think you can maneuver him this way a little bit?
I'm going to go wrangle him up for you. Besides, I need another bourbon. So
there you
see
go.
that.
we're going to get, gentlemen, it was my absolute pleasure
Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining us
here
to
tonight.
be with you. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, don't forget about me for dinner, baby.
Okay. Oh, we're
Forget
on.
about me
We're
for
on.
dinner. Cousin Frank, bring it in, bro. Baby. That's what I'm talking about. Now, get in good. Get in good. Like, yeah. This ain't no Me Too movement. This ain't no Me Too movement. I'm right here. Thank you, gentlemen. I'll go get them for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you. And follow us.
Yes.
Take the card.
Yes.
Thank you. Folks, you just heard a little. And I can eat a little bit, you know.
I still got dinner
look who
plans,
just
Carl.
jumps
Forget
in.
about it.
Hang
That's
on.
right.
I gotta say something.
What do you got
wait
to
a
say?
minute, wait a
I'll
minute.
put that
Real quick.
speaker
Go
ahead
for
of
it.
you.
Fix that.
We'll
Okay.
listen to it. Why
we go.
not?
This Pinto thing has gone a little too far because this is my nickname around the place now.
Oh, Pinto.
People
I
call
tell
me
you, we do
Pinto.
make things
I'm used to
happen.
things like goddess,
Goddess. We can go
head
there.
bitch in charge.
The goddess of Pintos.
Okay.
I like the goddess. I like the goddess
You know,
thing.
here we are. So, like, what are you guys gonna do? You guys need food? Do I need to
Yeah,
go
we
make you a
need food.
sandwich?
We're
We have
getting a
to go
little
get food.
hungry.
We're
Yeah.
getting
What do
hungry.
they got inside, by the way?
There's
Pinto goddess.
there is.
Oh, there we go. The Pinto goddess.
goddess.
The
Yeah.
Pinto goddess.
That's it.
Oh, my God.
Let me tell you, there's a couple of different kinds of potato salad, a lot of charcuterie boards, millions of snacks.
Not
How
left-
about barbecue?
is there no food
Brisket.
left?
Brisket? Oh, we brisket
Oh,
for sure.
Yeah,
That's
brisket,
mine.
definitely.
That's
So,
yours. That's yours.
The
do we
ribeyes
need,
are all
so
finished.
who's going to take over the podcast while you guys eat?
Well, Bob and I are going to go, and you can
Kyle,
hang out with
Kyle.
Kyle.
I think we're
Kyle's
going to leave it in your
supposed to
hands.
give us a bird's eye view.
Are you sure? Because
That's
I've
done?
had 3
No.
bourbons in a rum.
Then you're
keep talking.
qualified.
Kyle,
You're
you can
qualified.
sit here, Bob. See, we're going to go, and I am
Get
going
up,
to
eat. Like, go eat. We love you. Or, you know
I'm going to
what?
go visit the throne here, and
Good.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, go eat.
There we
Have
go.
a good time.
And I'm going to grab some more bourbon, so when we come back, we're going to have David Blanco coming on.
David Blanco.
Did
The
you talk
man.
to John Callaway with the label?
John is over there.
Oh no,
I'd say-
you're definitely taking
He
over.
has done 0 recon for you.
I know.
I
He
know.
has.
I know.
He's just been talking to you. That's it. I mean, that's the recon.
Once he
He
saw
would
you,
have been
forgot
court-martialed
about
in my
it.
army. He would
know.
have been court-martialed in my army.
Well, this is the problem
But
we have.
Well, court-martial him, will ya? And Bob, we'll go eat, and they will continue to show you.
Let's bring some plates back.
Bring
the
a couple
single
of
Maybe we
plates
should have a
over.
little
Brisket.
break.
We
Maybe
can
we
have a
should
little
just shut
break.
down for a few
No,
minutes.
Listen,
no,
give
we
us a
can't
break.
lose it.
We can't
People
lose
are
it.
on. People are on.
People
man.
Let's just have some guests
watching.
take it over.
Burko.
Let's you two go
Exactly.
eat.
We're going to go eat.
We'll take it over. Them two
There
go
you
eat.
go. You're
We'll
gonna-
talk more.
Three
We'll bring
bourbons.
people. Three
It's got
bourbon. This
people
is a rum
happening.
now.
There we go. Brad
You're
Burko
fully
is watching.
qualified to take over the show.
Okay, we got Brad Burko. Hey, Brad, listen,
Brad,
this has
hold
been
on.
a
We're coming
crazy
right
show. Oh well, she's gonna host now.
She's taking over the show. We're going to go and eat now.
We're gonna go and eat.
I got to go visit.
David, come
Somebody's
and
gotta
sit
do
over
it.
here next to me.
They can't very
Come
well
sit
shut
over
it
here
down.
next to me,
She's
David.
fully qualified. She had 3 bourbons, so
Yeah.
that's all you need here. Whoa, I forgot about that.
Bob.
Hey, Daddy.
Hey, Daddy.
Don't like.
He's thinking with the wrong head.
That's it.
You know?
to get her to call me that all day. All right, now we're back.
Now-
David
now-
Blanco here, folks. David Blanco and
Cousin
obviously-
Frank.
Cousin Frank. But I don't even know your name because I was very busy taking care. Look at all of this.
Yeah.
I took care of these guys. They don't even clean up
They don't
after
even-
themselves.
listen,
No,
listen.
They're pigs. They're pigs. I can't take them anywhere, David. I try my best. What are we? Oh, we're on here.
I'm Jerah.
Jerah, hi. How are you? I'm Frank.
Cousin Frank.
It's a pleasure.
David Blanco.
And Kyle.
And Kyle.
Yes, Kyle Jesso.
We're taking it over.
We're taking over. We got rid of Bob and Ronnie. It's probably the best thing that we could have done here tonight.
It's a Blanco
Well, hey, now the guests can talk.
Now the guests can actually get a word in edgewise. Uh-oh, another question for
from
the
the
audience.
So, are y'all going to do something like hockey where
Hockey?
win the shirts off your back?
Win the shirts off of our back.
Yes,
It's a
yes.
little
You want my
cold.
shirt? I got a camo bra on underneath this. Army. It's the Army way.
I don't believe you.
Prove
It's
it.
the Army
I don't
way.
believe
the
you.
Army way.
Prove it.
So
I'm gonna put my fedora on like this.
if you can outshoot me, you can have my shirt.
Ooh.
Oops, lost my fedora.
You just lost that bet.
I know. I lost
Yeah.
that bet.
Yeah, we'll do that. You want to play strip battleship on the range?
Strip battleship.
I am not past a good game of strip battleship, young man.
Now see,
Learn
these are
some
all
new stuff every
these are
day.
things, David, that I knew nothing of.
Me either.
Yes.
I'm learning something new every day.
You know, and I've fired a couple of little things up against a target, but I've never played kind of strip battleship.
I don't even know what that is.
David is regretting my invitation. Like,
This is going to get interesting now. Are you kidding?
All right. The show, this is getting interesting now.
It always does.
We
First,
need
this
to-
is the Great Lakes
if
podcast.
this is happening tomorrow, we're going to be there to cover it.
Are you guys having a good time, by the way?
No,
That's all I wanna
absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I've never been more miserable in my life.
I know.
We have
You
had
told
a
us
blast.
to come down here,
David-
have cigars,
Oh, my
drink
God.
bourbon, eat food. This is
play
ridiculous.
strip battleship.
We've had a pleasure of meeting wonderful people that you've invited here.
From everywhere.
From everywhere, literally
Yes,
everywhere.
yes.
And we have to thank you for the invite.
No, my pleasure.
Obviously, having you here, producing a great cigar line that you do. I mean, we're honored, truly, and we're blessed to be here.
And being
We are.
being one of our bigger sponsors
Exactly.
too.
I
With
mean,
the Chooch.
With the Chooch. I
The
mean,
Chooch.
The Chooch.
the Chooch, the 20 Chooch, right here, the Chooch, right there, the Chooch. And we're loving the Chooch, and this is our
Yes.
second Chooch
Oh.
of the day.
Boy, you guys are packing them in. We got 3 people watching. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, they fall in and out.
Does
Yeah.
that include these phones?
That includes the 2
Yes.
phones.
Oh,
Jesus.
And so we're watching ourselves.
We had 4 people
We
when
had
I was on.
4.
What
Yeah,
in
we
the
had
hell?
4.
That's
4
all right.
people now.
In syndication, this will get thousands.
Yes.
Well, that's what happens. See, it's the post
I know.
fact, though.
You gotta remember that our folks on the Asian and European
Oh, yeah,
markets.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
They
They're
don't
not
see
even
us.
awake yet.
They got subtitles in their languages over there?
Oh,
Are they
yeah.
gonna buy
No,
one of
that-
this thing?
Yeah, they.
Oh, of course.
Arigato.
Arigato.
Ni hao ma. Ni hao ma. Oh, han hao.
Hey,
I
can,
mean-
you pass the fire?
I mean,
Cousin Frank?
the Asians have already watched our show because they're living in the tomorrow.
Yeah.
So the
This
Europeans.
is the future. This is Squid Game over there right now.
Exactly, Squid Game. That was
Oh,
crazy.
that was a
That's
crazy show.
That was
Crazy
a crazy
show.
We won't talk about Squid Game.
So what was your
We're
favorite
gonna-
part of the day so far? I mean, we still got some other festivities going on, but so far, what did you enjoy the
Oh
most?
my God.
The food.
The food is off the chain.
The food.
So, did
The
you try
com-
the brisket?
Oh my
Not
God.
yet.
That was
What are you waiting
beautiful.
for? Christmas?
We're busy here. We're actually interviewing people.
God.
Well, they let
I mean,
let the two big daddies go first.
yeah, you
They
know,
were nice.
Is that what they're doing? They're eating now?
they're eating
Yeah.
finally.
Okay, I got you.
Well,
You know.
I mean,
So
look
I'm a
at
filler. That's what you're
look at
calling
the
me?
size of Ronnie. He has to
look
eat.
at Ron.
Otherwise,
I mean-
he'll wither away.
I mean, every time a tray of food walked by, he's like,
His eyes are almost, you know.
We did it right with the food for sure, guys.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
yes.
without a doubt. Great food, but the company.
Yes.
And ultimately, this is
The fellowship.
The fellowship. It's
That's what this is. This is the HERF that we hold here is a customer appreciation party.
right.
That's what this
Yes.
is.
Yep.
The cover is zero.
Right.
It doesn't cost you anything to come here.
You can't
Yep.
beat that.
I do ask that you bring a bottle of adult beverage.
yes.
Yes.
Because that contributes to the table for the community. So it's
Right.
community
Right.
beverage.
Right.
Yep, yep.
But that's it. I mean, the food's on us, the cigars on us.
I mean,
Wow.
The camaraderie, everything. We like to set this up. We like to give back and say thank you to everybody. Whether you're watching this and you smoke Blanco cigars or you're actually able to come next year. Everybody's invited. We have people from all over the country.
And are you selling your cigars here?
Yeah, we
too?
do sell cigars here.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well,
We have
I
a
mean, let's get to the
Sure.
meat and bones here.
Look,
I mean, sell.
Sure, but that's people buy our. If we didn't sell one cigar today,
Yeah.
we're fine. Because
Right.
the reality is, this wasn't a selling
Oh, yeah.
event.
right.
It wasn't marketed that way.
This was
Yes.
just marketed to come together. Everybody from around the country that enjoys our cigars. I'm staring at people in front of this table right now
Yeah.
from Long Island and in Texas.
It's San Antonio.
That's right. So I mean there's people from California right over there.
Rhode
and
Island.
There's people from Minnesota right over
yeah,
there.
Rhode Island's in the
Island.
house.
So we have everybody from around the United States that have either supported or contributed to our success that we would like to say thank you to. And so we invite them to come to our headquarters to partake in a party, eat, drink, smoke, just have a great
Yeah.
time, and say thank you. And that's what this is all about. So
And you're going till all hours in the evening too.
yeah, this is going on till. Listen, we can. This is private property.
Yeah.
I advertised it till midnight or whenever. So if we want to stay here till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm here.
All right.
I got
Party.
plenty of bourbon, scotch, and rum,
Right.
and cigars to hold me over. And I'll probably have some brisket, ribs, and chicken left.
Well, I hope so.
I can-
After Ron gets to that brisket, it might not be left.
yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
I think
to
the
be quite
tray's
honest.
gone now.
That is some good
Yeah,
stuff.
we should have let cousin Frank. Go
Yeah, we should have
first
sent the
before-
We have-
thinner
we have
people
4
who
of
look
those
like they
trays.
need food. Okay,
have
we're
4 of
good.
those
We're
trays.
good.
All I'm saying
Ron
is
and Bob
Ron
went.
and Bob.
Yeah.
You can have a tray each, and we still probably have.
Okay. The Pinto already went.
The
and it
Pinto
was-
already
she was-
wins. Yes.
What was it?
We
it was a great time so far.
gotta have a better name for you. This is
Well,
That's
I
not a
blame Mayor Ross for that, and we're gonna talk about
called
that
you the
later.
Pinto?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
said why?
Why-
Hey Bob, why would you want to drive a Pinto
when you can drive a
when you can drive a Cadillac?
Cadillac, yes.
And I wanted to drop kick him into a pile of drywall screws over that.
Hey, nobody would have blamed you. I mean,
It's just but you can't do that to the mayor. I mean, not in public anyway.
That's right.
is he really the mayor if it's not in the same state?
He's still a mayor, just in absentia.
Yes.
Yeah.
If a woman complains privately.
No,
It's
no,
okay.
Does anybody really ever hear it? It's kind of the same.
You can always cancel him.
Wait, who's going to complain?
You can cancel him.
I mean, we only got like 3 people watching, so
That's
I mean,
right. And both
And
of
we're,
them
and
are
we're
David.
2 of them right here.
And both of them are David watching himself.
I know, but after after you post this and I become an
Oh, Josh
international
Dowler is on.
Instagram
Josh,
celebrity,
how are ya?
all right. See,
you
See,
know,
We get Josh.
we only require 10% of the cut.
got it. Got it. So, David, I got to tell you. So, was super excited to get this invite. I like to think I was probably one of the first people to, book my plane ticket.
Yes, I think you were the first one to share that with me.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
I was very excited about it.
The first.
And I think that's that's one of the things that makes this so special is we're excited to be together again.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I get that people have been, this has been kind of the year of people getting back to, I guess, whatever it is that they call the new normal, which I think is like stupid.
Yes.
Bizarre
English for that.
language.
Right.
But I was really excited about all the people that came in from so far away, and I was really interested about who would be the person that would come from the furthest away,
Well,
for this.
we had people coming from England,
Whoa.
but
That's tough.
Brandon has a ban of all flights.
Yeah, you
From the
told
UK.
me. Yeah, which
Really?
is
Yes,
complete.
until November
Can we
8th.
just go ahead and
What?
say that that's bullshit?
Yeah, we
Until
can.
the 8th of
Until
November.
the 8th of
And you did.
November. Until the 8th. What happens on the 8th? That's a magical mystical
Absolutely
day.
not
Nothing.
an MFing thing.
Well,
Nothing.
the point is it's a just a straight ban for any flights into the country. The fact is that he has also taken the Pfizer. These people that I know, they have all taken the Pfizer inoculation, which is an
Yeah.
American-made.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
But we talked about
Yeah.
but we talked about all these people
Yeah.
pouring over the southern border.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
yeah.
Once
It's a
again, we
different
question the
story.
process, but so I was really excited about
Canada is also canceled. They couldn't come because they
Right.
couldn't drive across the border either.
Trudeau,
couldn't drive
Trudeau's
up
They
a
just
bullet.
until
opened the
when?
Canada border.
8th of November.
Oh
they
my
could
gosh.
now they can fly,
They can fly.
Oh,
but
they
we
can
had a
fly.
bunch of guys road tripping it down.
right, which would
okay.
make sense.
And so
Yeah.
they couldn't come. They were like, well, we can't make it. So I have
Jeez.
England canceled. I have Canada canceled.
wow.
It is what it is.
Just means you got to throw another half.
Oh, we do it every year.
Exactly.
But like
This is
more
an-
than once.
No, I have other parties that
So
I do here.
You
but
don't
the
understand
Blanco
what
Herf
he's
is once
getting at is that us being, or me and Ron being from Chicago, we're like his
You're
farthest.
you're the furthest. You
No, we
guys
got
win.
Minnesota right over there. What are you talking about? We got
You don't-
Wisconsin right over there. What are you talking about?
Rhode Island is pretty far too.
I mean, is Texas not just as far?
No.
Nah,
I
You're
mean,
closer.
geography wasn't my greatest. I'm a gun person.
Yeah. I mean, all right, let's put it in your terms.
Right.
If you shot your AR from Texas and I shot my AR from Chicago,
It would take
you're going to
longer.
hit first
Yeah.
than I will.
So I'm going to get the kill shot,
Yes.
and you're not.
Yeah.
That's
gonna
what you're
miss-
telling me. That's how I'm reading
yes,
this right
yes,
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Okay.
get the kill,
This one's
I
dead.
don't.
I'm
That one's live. That
windage and
one's live.
dissipation.
Oh,
I'm dialing
technical
it
terms.
in.
Oh my God. Here we
You
go.
know, multi-syllable words. David doesn't understand.
I'm smoking my cigar.
So David, I mean, you've been on the road. Literally, you've been a road warrior.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Basically for months on end.
Yeah,
It-
since the BCA.
even
you've
before
been-
that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah,
he's been
before the BCA.
just
Oh, my gosh.
nonstop.
So I was on the road for 2 months straight, and we probably did about 9,000 miles.
wow.
And for those of you that follow us,
yes.
I've taken a little bit of a break from social media
Finally.
for the
That's
past
good.
month or so.
Nothing wrong with
preparing
that.
for this, but also because I was a little bit
Burnt out.
fringed on, burned on the fringes there a little bit.
Right.
And so I've taken a little backseat profile of letting everybody do their thing and try to coordinate this thing together. And I will be heading back on the road again shortly. Not so much over the holidays,
Okay.
but I'm going to start picking it back up. And I have some special events coming up with Veterans Day.
Okay.
Right.
We have some things planned. I guess in March I'll be. It's still in the works. We're going to be heading back to Texas.
Nice.
I don't know how much we want to talk about that. I don't know if you've already talked about
Yeah,
that.
we've talked about it a
We're
little
gonna
bit, but
get
yeah,
the-
you'll be coming.
We're going to get the key to the city.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Shh, don't tell
Mayor
Don't
Ross
tell
made
anyone.
some big
He
promises.
made some big problems. I don't know if it was under the influence or.
Is that why you handed him this
No,
lemonade?
Big Ron was forcing him into it, and then
I
Mayor Ross knows
suggested
that
it.
Bob's my boyfriend.
That's
so-
right.
Hold on. You got to address Ron by his real name. It's 3XL.
3XL.
Okay, I said Big Daddy. I said Big Daddy. It's fine. If we're Italian, we can do it.
I just like
I'll
like
make
hearing
him a
Jerah
good
say Big
cannoli.
Daddy.
I'm Big Daddy.
That's all
I
wanted
know.
to say.
I know.
But,
And it's
when-
recorded, so
yeah,
we'll be
but
able to
when,
review this.
When Daddy wants an invitation,
Oh,
Daddy
we
gets
get
one.
exactly.
Oh, hey.
So
Quiet, here he comes.
we're excited to have you out
Here
for
he
that,
comes.
man. We just can't even say, like, it's so hard to put into words how cool that is, and we want all of you to be there, and we know, like, and that's
to your
actually
right.
the reason that we came out here is because as soon as Jim sat me down and said, we're doing this thing and it's going to be super cool, I was like, Jim, I got to show you this cigar.
Yeah.
And I was like, David had invited me to this Herf, and I was like, this cigar I think would be awesome. And Jim was like, I got my plane ticket. And that's the kind of guy he is. That's the kind of mayor he is. So
You're not just saying that because he's sitting right there.
Are you
That's
saying-
is he sitting there?
Are you saying that
Hey!
are you saying he's a mayor that kind of just does things on a whim and spends money at will? I just
Correct.
try to make a correlation there. What's the correlation? I'm missing it. It's,
But that was one of the biggest reasons why we came out here is because, David's he's just so different in the industry, and we really appreciate that about him. And he's very, very veteran focused, and we wanted
Yeah, I'm gonna
him to
start
be a
blushing.
part of this huge, thing that Jim's bringing to Arlington, and we really wanted that, man. So that's why we're here.
Thank you, Jerah.
Yeah.
Very kind.
Yeah.
Am I turning red?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. You should.
But
I think it's just the
With
weather.
that being said, this Pinto thing has got to go.
Yes.
That now will go out there.
One of the best cars
Ever made. Exactly.
It's a smooth ride.
So what do you guys need? What do you guys want to ask me? Anything in particular, or are you guys just having a good time?
No.
No.
We
No,
always
no,
want
I'm
to
Lots of
ask.
questions for you.
Yeah, we always
All right,
ask questions
rattle them off
for
because
you,
I got
right?
guests.
I got
Whoa. So how much time, I got a quick question. How much time do you think, just normally, I mean, not given a pandemic year or anything like that, would you say that you spend, like making blends?
Well, that's
like
my favorite part.
Yeah, what really like goes into that, and just kind of give me a summary of like the process and how much time that you individually spend kind of sampling these and making sure that they're the quality that you want for the people.
Wow. So that was a good question. How come you guys never asked me shit like that?
Well, I want Kyle to come over and put a nice lower third that I created for you, David.
Aha.
Secretly, I'm trying to be the fifth on the podcast.
I got you. No,
Look,
no
look
secret
at how
here.
nice that looks.
Oh, look at that.
I got
Wow.
the other one. I
Ooh.
got another one with the cigar underneath it, but I got the chooch
Wow.
underneath
All
it.
right, there you
the
go.
chooch.
The next one.
I like that.
That
You
was
should
the
have
only
of
two
them.
you had
I
there.
have two.
That was the
That's
both
the
of
one
them.
with the that's a choose. But whatever.
There you go.
It looks
It
nice.
looks good. It
Red,
looks
white,
good.
and blue.
Hey, Frank, quit getting in on my time. I got a question.
I got it. We got a hack.
Hold on.
Hack. We got
I'm
time.
just kidding.
Yeah, we're gonna give the show over to Shar here. And we're just,
So
Yes.
I spend quite a. I mean, this is my forte. What I do is I blend cigars. There are a lot of people involved in a lot of different things here. I'm the face a lot of times of the brand, but by no means. I have to give a shout out to everybody that is a part of the brand making process. My forte is actually making the cigar, blending the different tobaccos. So I spend a lot of time at the factory working with my family, seeing what type of tobaccos we have that are not only current that we use on a regular basis, but things that are new, things that we are genetically improving on or growing in different areas of the country. Because like anything else that's agrarian, the soil that you grow it in changes the flavor. Like grapes, for example. Yep. You grow grapes in different regions, in different
Absolutely.
countries, and the same grape, the same plant will taste different as far as what the end result of that grape will be.
Yep.
Similar with tobacco. You grow it in different regions. In Nicaragua alone, we have the four major areas that we grow, which are Condega, Jalapa, Esteli, and Ometepe. But there are other minor areas that we are working towards developing those areas and seeing what they yield. And now we're not only doing that, but we're also genetically, I don't want to use the word improving on plants, but we're splicing different varietals of tobacco to try to create new flavors of tobacco.
So you're splicing the physical plant.
That's right. Well, Habano 2000 is a hybrid.
okay.
Okay, so that's a hybrid. There are other tobaccos that you guys already smoke right now that are hybrids.
Okay.
So we are developing new hybrids in certain areas where we grow with different soil elements and different elevation levels with different humidity levels to see what we can come up with. So it's a little bit more scientific than people realize.
Right.
Yep.
Not only the growing aspect, but then the fermentation part comes.
Yes.
The fermentation part is what really differentiates us from the cigarette and other than premium cigar industry.
Right.
Nobody else is fermenting tobacco. Cigarette companies do not. They hang it in their barns.
Yeah.
It turns brown, and they chop it up.
Right.
And they spray all kinds of chemicals and everything else.
Oh,
on it.
yeah.
Right.
The fermentation process for us is a chemical biological decomposition of the leaf.
Right.
So we add water to that, or we add humidity levels, and then it changes as well. So we can add a certain amount of water or a less amount of water, a certain amount of heat, less amount of heat. The fermentation level changes.
Yes.
So this whole thing, I'm not going to go too far into the FDA thing, but the FDA thing having to do with regulating something that is fermented is something that they say they'll never do.
But they're trying.
But yet they're trying.
Right.
Yeah.
So as part of the BCA, which is another organization I'm a member of, the Boutique Cigar Association.
Shout out to Armin, by the way.
Shout out
to Armin. Yes.
That's right. Armin and Gabby,
yeah.
myself, I'm a board member as well. We are trying to bring to light some of those things, and you're going to hear more about that coming in the near future.
You also forgot the best thing, though. The Great Lakes Smoke Show is
The
the
Great Lakes
voice
Smoke Show is
of
course,
the BCA.
Of course. So we have more things coming up that will be bringing a light to the fact that the whole regulatory effort to regulate premium cigars is something that the FDA should not be involved in by their own admission that they do not regulate things that are fermented.
Yes.
Gotcha.
that have a fermentation process, because that process is never absolute.
Right.
So these are one of the things that we are now bringing to light, and that we are trying to argue as a point of order that we should be exempt
Yes.
from the regulation process or the regulatory process as seen by the FDA.
Yeah.
And this is a lot of things that general cigar smokers don't understand. That you have to deal with and go through and fight. I mean, there's a whole regulatory, like, governmental process.
We are an industry under siege.
Yep.
Yes.
Bottom
Yes.
line. Absolutely. And you're right. And we hope that more people will become more active and involved in contacting their congressmen and their senators. There's an organization out there, the CRA, which was supposed to be consumer-oriented, so they would have a voice. They pay a lot of money towards lobbyists and things of that nature. I was one of the founding corporate sponsors of that organization, standing it up. So it's patterned after the NRA, believe it or not. That's what we mirrored that organization, so it could be a focal voice for the consumers, not the manufacturers.
Basically a rights organization for the
That's right.
consumer.
Right.
Right.
That's right.
So you have you're super involved in basically all aspects of Blanco cigars. But tell me about how this Above and Beyond line came about. So your father's basically all of your siblings served.
Yeah.
Your father served. This is what your doll of a father. He may replace Bob as my boyfriend. Because he literally walked in and he was like, "I'm Cesar Blanco," and I'm like, "Oh my God, you're a doll." Know me. Know who I am.
Wow.
Yes.
That's all you had to be.
Is
a
that
little older.
Is that going to be me one day?
Yeah.
Someday.
He's so great.
You can only hope.
Yeah.
I want to just throw him in the rental car and take him out for a nice seafood dinner.
Wow.
That's what I want to do.
Right.
If I could only find a girl like that, I mean.
No kidding.
One day,
But,
Kyle, one day.
well,
It's a million.
have you ever seen the Hot Crazy Matrix?
Oh,
God.
I play it for people. Well, where are you on that, by the way?
Yeah, you'll have to. You just figure that out for yourself.
No, I'd like you to. You brought it up. Let us know where you see yourself, and that are you above the crazy line, below the crazy line? Where you
Yeah, you'd have to really factor in
Well,
guns,
it's a sliding
guns
scale.
into that. It would have to be there would be a whole different metric scale.
Okay.
You know, but
I almost got to admit where she was in the Hot Crazy Man.
that's really it's not for me to decide. It's
No.
for you to decide.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
I mean,
The
is
fact
that
that
not
you-
right, Frank?
The fact that you are aware of the
absolutely,
Hot
yes.
Crazy Matrix means that you understand the Hot Crazy
Yes.
Matrix.
Oh, yeah. It's totally understandable.
So she knows
Which
exactly where she falls.
mean that I know how to manipulate the Hot Crazy
the
Matrix.
Matrix.
You know what I'm
It's-
saying?
it's
So.
right.
Oh, there it is.
But your dad informed me, and this is not something that you told me about when you came to Texas. I was very disappointed that I did not hear this from David Blanco. That your dad served and all of your siblings served. So this is a big family affair. I knew the idea
As
of
well as his brother,
Above
my
and
uncle.
Beyond. Yeah, but I don't understand. I want to understand what conversations happened to make this come into fruition.
So I made a cigar previously for the American Legion, and we were donating the proceeds to that cigar to the American Legion. Unfortunately, as a result of liberal tendencies in that organization, they found out that we were making a cigar and using the American Legion logo, which was we were authorized to do so by the American
Right,
Legion.
sure,
by the
sure,
way.
sure.
Just we were dotted all our T's and
up in
Right.
arms.
crossed
They got
all
up
our
in-
I's,
Yeah, they
right?
got up in arms.
Yes.
So we were authorized as a vendor to do that product as a promotion to raise money for the American Legion.
Right.
Well, after about 2.5 years, we became a victim of our own success. Apparently, enough people in that organization that were more liberal leaning towards the tobacco and cigar industry and smoking in general decided they didn't want their logo nor their name associated with a tobacco product.
Right.
So we had to cease production. They rescinded our opportunity. Take care, brother. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. Where are you going back to? Philly.
Philly.
Back to Philly.
Philly's in the house.
Oh, there you are.
I'll see you guys up there when I visit. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. God bless. So, there's Philadelphia. There you go. They're going back to Philly tomorrow. They came down just for this. Great guys.
Amazing.
It's really
Amazing.
It makes me feel, you know.
Hey, when you're a special
Man,
guy, when you're a special
people
guy
make
doing a
the
special
effort.
thing,
Wow.
people come in for that. You know.
Exactly. People make the
Yeah.
effort.
This is a
Honored, I
happening.
guess is what I can say.
This is the happening.
Yeah.
But that being said, with regard to the question I was being asked, which had to do with the
Above and Beyond.
Above and beyond.
where was I?
The genesis.
The genesis of it with the American Legion. You overseas production.
So I ended up losing about $30,000, and I say that because I wasn't in to make the money, but I had a 5-year plan. So I was giving them money as we continued to make cigars, giving them money, and I was eating the cost. And after about 5 years, I was going to break even, right? So at 2.5 years, they pulled the carpet out from under me, and I was $30,000 in the hole at that point.
Right.
So it was a debacle, an absolute disaster. But then they had the gall to tell me, and I'm still a member of the American Legion. Locally, those chapters, they're locally. If you're part of American Legion locally, your own chapter, that's fine. But national, they then said, but we still appreciate you giving those checks.
Oh, of course. Well, I'm not going to say don't send the check.
I just said they wouldn't even let me run through all of the material that I had produced and everything. They said I got to burn it. I got to destroy it.
Oh,
really?
Geez.
Yeah, they said you're done. You got to the end of 2 months or whatever, and you're done. And I'm like, so I was like, I don't think I'm doing that again.
I'm taking the labels off.
I learned my lesson. No, we sold out what we did.
Right.
The boxes had to be destroyed. The bands had to be destroyed. Everything had to be destroyed.
What a waste.
So then I decided at that point I'm going to do something again, but it's going to be original to Blanco, and I had to have meaning behind it.
Right.
So everything that we do with that cigar has meaning and a visual meaning to it, like the torpedo tip that has a blue cap with white stars is emblematic of a folded flag.
Yes.
The cigar is box pressed because it's emblematic of a coffin. Because the flag is laid over in black because it's a sign of mourning. Everything has meaning. The oath of office that we all take is on the back of the band, behind everything else. So there's 21 cigars in the box for a 21-gun salute.
Yes.
The names of the cigars are the 4 different types of heroes: the willing hero, the unwilling hero, the classic hero, and the epic hero.
Right.
So I mean, everything means something, and I wanted to give back to all of those. So even Blanco on the label is in red, blue, and gold.
Right.
Red for fire and EMS, blue for law enforcement, and gold for military. And those emblems are on the back of the band as well.
Right.
The Maltese Cross for the fire department, a police badge, and the Gold Star, which is emblematic for those in the military of a Gold Star family who has lost somebody. And this is about the heroes are the ones that didn't survive. Right. The heroes are the ones that paid the ultimate price, that sacrificed for their country. And he's handing me a box right now so I can visually show you that.
That's right.
But there you go.
There it is.
There's the box.
Yep.
So amazing.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
I'll bring it right up there.
Now here's something that we saw, and I think that this is kind of what inspired the thought process here was we were at Skyball, Jim and I were at Skyball, which is a big military fundraiser. Air Power Foundation in Texas kind of backs this, and they take the money and they distribute it through different veterans organizations, whether it be for fallen families, children of the fallen, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the really cool things they did, we had 7 Medal of Honor recipients that were at this ball.
That's right.
And they were all different ages, different branches, and they had 20 new enlisted come out onto the field. Now, this was at AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys play, and where we had the ball. And so on the actual field was where all the tables and the whole program was set up. It was very, very cool.
That's awesome.
And 20 new enlisted got to come out on the field. They marched out left, right, left onto the field, and then they right-faced toward one of the Medal of Honor recipients that gave them their oath of enlistment.
Wow.
So they got to take their oath of enlistment in front of 7 Medal of Honor recipients, and one of the Medal of Honor recipients, who was a general, gave them their oath of enlistment.
Wow.
And
What an
how
honor.
cool would it have been? You know, that's what made me think of this. How cool would it have been to gift them one of these to have that had their oath?
Oh my God.
You know, on it.
Yeah,
And
That would have been perfect.
Wow.
Jim was so
Something to do in the future, maybe.
I think so, and I see that being a tradition in the future, and so I feel very like our meeting was very serendipitous. You know, when we kind of
I like that.
that's a
Another
that's a
very
big
multi-
word.
like that.
Are you
multi-syllable word.
enjoying my education
That's
right
right.
now?
Yeah, I
Because
am. It's,
Did you tell them where our serendipitous meeting occurred?
I don't want to know the details.
It was the Cheesecake Factory.
I don't like to kiss and tell
The Cheesecake
about the
Factory.
Cheesecake Factory. But yeah, he came in and met me in Fort Worth, and we smoked cigars at a cigar lounge over in Fort Worth called the Silverleaf, and we went across with Nick. Nick was with us. and we went over across to the Cheesecake Factory.
We had to have a chaperone.
Nice.
We had a great dinner, and so this is how really cool things happen.
Right.
Is you meet someone and you say, man, that person's just genuine and authentic. And then you get other opportunities, in my area, like this opportunity to do Hearsay Lounge with Jim Ross, and who's a former Marine, former SWAT. Like, it's all, I'm Army, and you're Army, and, we'll take Jim if we have to have him as a jarhead. But
we just have to speak slowly so we can understand.
And we're going to have plenty of coloring books and crayons at the groundbreaking of the Medal of Honor.
I was going to say, you probably want to hide the crayons.
I'm sorry. Grape is his favorite crayon color.
Yeah,
Grape.
But that's we want to do really special things, and it's because you had this idea to do this amazing. Not only is it like a beautifully marketed cigar, but it's a beautifully smoked cigar.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it has both things.
So the work that you did, I think, is really going to become iconic in the veteran community.
Yeah, that's.
Well, we have done a few things. We're also giving the proceeds to some 501c3s that help veteran families.
Awesome.
We also are, at this moment, the official cigar of Grunt Style.
Love it.
Nice.
So we do have a relationship there. The gentleman who actually founded Grunt Style was one of my soldiers.
No kidding.
We were
I
both,
remember you telling me
we
about that.
were both drill sergeants back in the day in Fort Benning.
I could see you being a drill sergeant.
He was selling T-shirts out of his trunk. That's
Really?
how Grunt Style started.
Wow.
Now it's a multi-billion dollar.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
Right. It's ridiculous. So I discussed with them, and it was part of the community that fit with their process, and we've done some cross-marketing with that and everything else. So I guess I'm technically the official cigar of Grunt Style. But so we've tried. I also have friends that are part of Horse Soldier Bourbon. Some of them should be here this evening.
I talked to Will Summers literally yesterday.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Well, Scott is supposed to be coming, and so is Robert. Said he was coming tonight. So I haven't seen him yet, but it's early, and these guys
they work late.
Yeah.
Will does a really cool event called Whiskey and War Stories.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And we're going to book him over at the Mercury Chop House in Arlington. We have this big, beautiful boardroom that's like a wine room. It's got all these walls of wine that go around this beautiful board table, and you've got these west view of the sunset, over Arlington.
Beautiful.
And we're going to book him for Whiskey and War Stories because he lives in East Texas, so he's only like 2 hours away
If you
from
can
us.
get Scotty out there too, you'll enjoy time with him.
I look forward to meeting him.
Scotty's a great guy.
Yeah, I look forward to meeting him.
Actually, I got him on the phone. I think the last time we were together, I called Scotty.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
And you were supposed to get a tour of the team.
I'm still
room.
going. I'm
Okay.
still going. Yeah, we're figuring out the date. I mean, I'm busy too. Hello.
Just so you know.
I'm the Pinto.
Just so you know, that team room and that whole place is about 20 minutes from here.
Really?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't mind coming back to Florida. I have no problem.
Okay.
Coming back to Florida. But, man, we're excited to be here for you. This is so cool.
Thank you.
What a great event. If you missed it, if you're watching this and you're like, gosh, I wish I would have came, get off your ass and get here next year because
yes, love that
it's
approach.
a great cross-section of Americana here. What
It
we
is.
have,
Yeah.
if I could just, as I look at the crowd here, I see fire, EMS, I see law enforcement over there. I see military, obviously, everywhere.
Yeah.
I have Masonic Brothers over here. I have Shriners over here. I'm part of another organization. There you go. It's a Mason brother right there. I see some brothers over here that I'm part of another local organization that it's a 501c3 called the St. Pete Fools.
Okay.
We're just a bunch of entrepreneurs that work in the area that we also have a charity ride that we're going to be holding on the 13th of this month. I think last year we had 300 bikes, and you can see a bunch of bikes.
Yeah, we heard them roll in.
They just came in. Yeah.
So those guys, and we give to the underprivileged there.
That's awesome.
Young unwed mothers that are either pregnant that need help or children that need help with things of that nature. We have 501c3s there. So I see all of these guys, and the one thing they have in common is that it's service.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all about service. Whether you're a Shriner and you have the hospitals for children, it's about service to the children. Military service to the community. Masons are very service oriented to the community.
Yep.
The 501c3 I belong to here is all about service to give back to the community. Right. And my father's walking around right now with
Is he wearing his cowboy hat?
I see.
No,
he's bringing. What,
he's
he got food?
He's got bags of shrimp because of my. here's what it's a shrimp boil. My Masonic Lodge My Masonic Lodge today had their shrimp boil, their annual shrimp boil.
Nice.
And we told them that if they had any shrimp left over, we are purchasing it and we will distribute it at this to give back to our
And your
Masonic
dad
Lodge.
is walking around in his big,
handing
beautiful
out-
cowboy hat that he's never worn before.
A bag of shrimp. He's got a bag of
He's
shrimp.
handing out pounds of shrimp to people that are left over from the shrimp boil. And look, he's got.
Here it is right
We're
here.
not.
Look at this.
We're not blowing smoke. We're actually.
No.
Here we go.
Have some
look
shrimp.
at that.
This is what we.
There's shrimp.
Look
It's
at the
all
shrimp
cooked.
right
There's
here.
shrimp.
It's all cooked. There you go.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Look at that.
And
it's awesome.
Just because we want to make sure that the Masonic Lodge raises the funds because they use it as a fundraiser, so we're taking it all.
Yeah.
But I mean, it comes
Awesome.
down to this. It's like time is the most valuable and finite currency we have. What are you spending your time doing?
Yep.
And we're here connecting all across the country and beyond if, the
Yeah.
Yes.
tyrants would let them in.
Yes.
They'll get here.
Yes.
I'll
Can't keep them out
say it.
forever.
Yes.
So this is so good. Man,
Yeah.
this is great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, David.
Did we talk? Did you guys end up talking to Matt
We didn't
Dom?
talk. We didn't talk to our St. Peter.
Matt Dom. Matt Dom left.
Okay.
He had to leave. He had another engagement, but he left the beer here. Matt
He left
Dom
the beer.
owns-
Okay.
See that?
Yeah, Mastery's Brewing Company on St. Pete Beach, buddy of mine. He's got a couple kegs here. He was
Yep.
here earlier. So I try to network a lot of guys in, and we all have a great time.
Well,
man.
here's the biggest thing. Okay, so we talked about your Armed Forces cigar that you have going on. Let's talk about the Chooch.
The Chooch.
Because you are a big sponsor of the
Chooch.
show of Smoke the Chooch.
Yes, it's true.
Like, let's talk about how that name came to be, how that
Well,
cigar
let me look
blend
into the
came.
camera for this one. because-
Well, I feel like if I can say it before you tell us
Sure.
how the Chooch came around, I feel like the people who are smoking the Chooch have the most beautiful beards.
I just shaved. What are you talking about?
yeah,
I
thank
just
you.
shaved.
And beards are...
I had a
Beards
beard
are-
yesterday.
Well,
Hey.
David, you have to take the patience. She did say
Yeah,
it
the
takes
patience.
patience.
I know.
It takes patience to grow a beard.
time.
And
Shaved
it's
it.
the kind of patience that it
shaved
takes to put up with my bullshit.
See, but here's the thing, though. Like, I started growing mine out because I heard girls like, guys with the beard. So I started growing it out a while ago. But it still hasn't worked for me.
So the Chooch. Let's get that out there real quick.
Let's do it. Because you've got guests.
I do. So for all you out there, let me explain the Chooch. The Chooch is for all you that are Italian heritage. My father is Cuban, but my mother is Italian. My family's from Naples. So I grew up in Chicago and around a lot of Italian friends. And the Chooch was a slang term that we used growing up all the time. I'll let you look it up on the Urban Dictionary. How's that?
You can say it. It's
But
okay.
that being said, but that being said, let me explain why I named a cigar the Chooch. I named this cigar the Chooch because there are a lot of people out there I've dealt with in this industry that I prefer not to name because that would be very unkind. My mother did teach me a few things growing up, is that if you didn't have anything nice to say,
Don't say anything.
don't say
at all.
anything.
Anything at all.
So I prefer not to say things negative about people.
Right.
I just wanted to honor them with a cigar.
Uh-huh.
So I made a cigar for all these people. And they know who you are. That's why I wanted to look at the camera. You know who you are. You can now say you have a cigar named after you. I did this for you. For you. So for all of you guys out there that can
Understand.
know who you are,
Yeah.
congratulations. You've inspired me
Hey,
to be creative enough to do this. I will say that I did teach somebody that word years ago. His name was Joe Torres. In San Antonio, works for the Club Humidor. Joe, you know who you are. And I taught him how the word chooch, and to this day, I think it's been like 12 years. He still goes around walking around saying, "Hey, you chooch, you chooch, you chooch." So now he's known. Everybody jokes around and says, "Hey, chooch." So I said, for that reason alone, I also have to make this the chooch.
Yes.
So there's a Blanco 9 chooch. Joe was also involved in assisting me with the blending of the
right.
Blanco 9.
Okay, yep.
So it was apropos that
To
to
Yeah.
name it the chooch,
Chooch,
and
nice.
we had
well,
to
I
release
feel
it there.
personally attacked, and I would like to read from the Urban Dictionary
Attacked.
the Chooch.
Okay.
The Chooch from the Urban Dictionary means jackass, dummy, idiot, or moron. A chooch is a person who, against better judgment, acts inappropriately.
Now I've been known to be a chooch on occasion.
Now,
we all have our moments.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Dave, I gotta tell you, I feel
Yeah.
personally
There you go.
attacked.
See, they're right there in the middle of the shirt. Yeah, right there in the middle of the shirt is the
Show 'em,
chooch.
Frank.
Okay, here we go.
That's
Show
the
'em,
chooch
Frank.
right there in the
It says-
middle.
It says on there, don't be a chooch, smoke the chooch.
Yeah.
That's
right.
So it's really a double entendre there.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you
Now,
go.
am I a chooch and not a pinto anymore? What do I got to do to get out of pinto status?
Well,
You
you got to
smoked the
stop
chooch.
hanging out with that Jim Ross
Yeah,
guy.
who's that guy? Who is he anyway?
He signs the checks.
He signs the
Stuck with him.
checks.
I feel like he stole my credit card to get here. What is that about?
It should have been I thought it was a government credit card.
No, we did not use taxpayer money to come here. Let me just clarify that right now.
It was a,
You're
it
gonna
was
get a lot
small,
of angry emails later
it was
on
a
this.
small line
My
budget
goodness.
item.
But so
My
there ends the
goodness.
story of the chooch.
Yes.
Exactly.
For all of you guys out there, I hope you enjoyed it. It's a great cigar. It's the Blanco
Yes.
9 blend.
It is. Oh,
and
it's
it's a 6x48.
Yep.
So I hope you guys enjoy it.
Well, what we loved about it, David, is the blend. It truly is a medium to full-bodied smoke, and the development of the flavor profile as you near the end, it really provides that bold flavor pack.
For sure. That's the
It's-
triple arrow and the filler. Dark
And-
Corojo wrapper.
And
All
that
Nicaraguan.
is what we love,
Yes.
is because you end that cigar with a punch. And the chooch always needs
That's
a
how
kick.
I'd like to.
Yeah.
That's how I'd like to end all my
Because you
chooch interactions.
got to punch a moron.
Every
you
time
always
I
got-
meet a chooch,
You know?
I like to end it with a punch.
A chooch uses
I
a
couldn't
kick.
have said it better
Yes.
myself.
A chooch is known for a kick, right?
Yeah.
The donkey's kick.
Yeah.
So this has a kick to
Yes.
it. So guys,
Yes.
make sure you smoke the chooch. Don't be one.
Yes.
Smoke it.
Now, what have you found to be the best drink to pair with
well-
the chooch?
well,
She loves bourbon. I gotta
Yeah.
tell you, she
I
loves
do.
bourbon.
I
Bourbon.
mean,
Bourbon.
there's
Bourbon.
no
It's gotta be
wrong
bourbon.
answer
There's no
necessarily,
wrong.
but
Let me tell
what
you.
do you like?
I'm gonna smoke this because I do love my cigars with coffee.
Yes. Coffee is a good one.
I
Espresso?
do. Yeah, with an
Oh, yeah.
espresso.
Sure.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is with an espresso.
If it's in the morning,
It's in the
coffee. In the afternoon, evening,
bourbon.
Bourbon.
I'm a rum guy.
Bourbon.
I do drink bourbons, but I'm also a rum guy, so I like rum with my cigars.
What's your favorite rum?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I'm gonna have to
I've
smoke
got,
a chooch and find out for myself.
I've got like 5, right? So I got like Zacapa,
see,
Zaya,
that's right
Flor
there.
de Caña. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there. Dos Maderas.
I had this.
I
I had this Zacapa Negro
Yes.
the other day. It was really good for the first time.
Exo's good.
But I love
there's,
Zacapa.
there's so many
Exo.
good.
We've
There's so
had-
many good rums.
We had a rum that was nothing like any rum that I've ever had before. It had a different vent. It's like 23 something. It's called. It's I have a picture of it. I'll bring it on my phone because
one I don't
my
know.
memory is not.
I think
good.
I
It was
got
from
in
the
my, in my
Dominican,
office.
I believe.
I think I got like Brugal. I have like 15, 16 rums in my office.
I'm gonna look.
Oh.
I took a picture of it somewhere.
Brugal is from the Dominican. I mean, there's a bunch of good. I mean,
I'll find one. You guys continue without me.
Marcelo.
There's a drink in Barcelona that I tried when I was there when I went to Spain a few years ago called.
And you remember?
Yeah. Thanks, David. And not only am I a Pinto, I'm also a Lush.
It's Spain. It's okay. It's what happens in Spain.
But it was vermouth, is what they called it. And I thought they were saying vermouth, and I'm like, that's gross. Don't
Yeah.
give that to me. I don't want to drink that by itself.
Joder, tío. Joder, tío, for all of our Spaniards.
But
out
it was
there.
so
Joder,
good, and they
tío.
brought us out like 15 courses of tapas, and I had like 5 vermouths.
Nice.
And it was so good, and I bet that would be like I've never paired that. I can't really find it here.
Oh, I'll look
I
it
have
up
not
now.
tried, but I'd love to pair that with a cigar to see what that looks
Vermouth?
like.
Oh,
but
yeah. No, not vermouth.
No,
vermouth. Vermouth.
It's not
Yeah.
vermouth. It's vermouth.
Vermouth.
It's a
Vermouth.
different drink.
Yeah.
Different, yes.
I've never had it.
It's yeah.
See,
the
Frank's
Spaniards do
not
things different.
listening.
But what's interesting though, when I went to Spain, so you have the Spaniards and you have the Catalans, and they're basically the Texans of Spain.
Right.
They want to be like their own thing,
That's
They
true.
think they are.
Yeah.
you know,
They
and
don't
they want
consider
to.
them Spaniards. Yeah.
They want to do it, you know, and they're very adamant about it, and it's
Oh, yeah.
it's a whole ass situation over there.
Yes, it is.
And it was very interesting to get because for a period of time in Spain you couldn't even speak Catalan
Right.
unless you'd get flogged or
Well,
you
Whatever
know,
they do in
executed.
Spain.
Whatever they do.
They put you in a bull.
Ran over by
bull
some
ring.
bulls.
Bull ring.
Yeah. You get the bull
Whatever.
horns.
However they do it.
In Italy, they give you the horns.
Yes.
These kind of horns. In Spain, they give you the true bull horns.
Oh, yeah, man. You're running with the
Get another
bulls.
one.
Well, Dave, man,
Thank
dude,
you.
freaking amazing. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Exactly.
It was a great
Great
experience.
cigars.
God.
Making my heart melt over here.
Yeah, just
Hey.
like, just know that you got there's love in my heart here.
There's love. There's lots of love
For
here.
ya.
It's
Big
like the
Daddy.
big heart. Ooh.
Oh, Daddy.
And Dave's done. And Dave's done.
And that's how, yes, and
Pull him
that's how
out.
we say
That's
goodbye to
it.
Dave. That's
Send him
Wait a minute,
home.
where's the microphone? I'm going to drop it.
He's send him home. He's
Give me the
done.
microphone over there. I'm gonna drop
And if
that
you need to
microphone.
kick me off, let me know. I'm just, you know, like
No,
I don't
I
want
mean,
to take it up.
you
But
don't.
if there's other
He doesn't want to
people-
kick you off. I mean, he's done now. I mean,
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Let me make it official.
I
Let me
think-
make it official.
uh-oh.
Here he goes.
Yeah.
Mic drop. Mic drop. Thank you, David Blanco, for
Yes.
everything.
David Blanco.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Stay smoky, and I will
That's
see
it.
you at a local shop near you one day.
Absolutely.
If our product is not in the cigar shop that you
Ask
want it to be
for
in,
it.
please ask for it. And have
Ask
them
for
call us, or we'll call them. But send us a note, instant message, whatever. Say, hey, we want you to come out to this shop, and we will
Yes.
try
You
to make it
gotta
happen.
you gotta get your mouth on one of these above and beyond. So you
Yes.
gotta get your mouth on.
Boy,
it,
she's killing me
so.
over
She's
here.
killing you. It's
Oh,
all,
God.
David, don't worry.
There's
I gotta
so
go.
many,
I gotta go.
so many ways we could go with that.
I'm gonna take your blood pressure after that interview. Thank you, David.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, it's a pleasure, David. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Hey, have a good time. Have a good time. Thank you.
We always have a good
Yeah,
time.
that's what
one
we're
thing.
here for.
You're killing me, Smalls. Mwah. You're killing me.
And David, make sure that Ronnie didn't eat all of the brisket.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, where
He's
is
eating
that
still?
guy?
They're still eating.
Hey, if there's brisket still there, he won't be back.
He's still eating, right? Yeah, that guy can't stop.
No.
I
That's
tried.
why
Now, Frank. Hey, Frank.
Yes, go ahead,
now,
talk to me.
Tell me about you. I don't know anything about you.
That's the way we keep it here
Yeah,
at the show.
he's the mysterious
I'm
one.
the mysterious one.
Scoot this way, Frank. Get him more into the shot here.
All right, yeah, because
Just sit
I'll take
here.
Ronnie's
Just
seat.
sit. Yeah, just sit here.
I'll
you
just
know.
move over.
Get closer to me.
There we go. We're going to
Frankie.
move over.
Yeah, no. Come over here and sit by Mama, Frankie.
See,
Bring the fire with you.
she says
All
all
right,
the
I'm
nice,
back.
sweet things to you guys, but I get nothing. I'm
That's
chopping
all right.
liver.
Hold
You
on.
you were out there talking to her the whole time.
No.
All right. I'm back in.
I told you I would marry you to get one of those finely
that's
rolled
right.
cigars.
Would
I
you
need
like
the fire. I need the
fire? Yeah, we're running
I
out
told
of.
you. You said no one would marry me, and I was like, I would have married you for at least 2 days
It's-
All right.
to get my hands on
Is
one
that
of
offer
those
still on the
cigars.
table?
It's
In
on
Vegas.
the table,
It
I
would've
baby.
think
been a
there's
Vegas
there's
marriage.
a chapel over here.
Dude, I am not past a chapel for a cigar. Don't you tempt me with a good time, young man.
Hey, the night's still early. I can tell you
Am
this.
I older than you?
Nope.
He
How
beat
old
you.
are you?
41.
Okay, I will be 40 in April.
See.
There we go. There we go.
I just have the good genes. I look young.
Good
Drink-
genes.
Do you
What-
drink a
you're not
lot
wearing
of water?
jeans.
Is
Do
that
I?
what it is? You drink a lot of water?
Yeah, it's distilled 3 times.
Triple distilled. This is Ron's and Bob's.
Yeah.
You know,
Do we need drinks over
Yeah,
here?
we
I
probably
feel
Yeah,
like
we
Now,
probably
now
do.
We need to
listen,
find a runner in a minute. For some
at the
drinks.
beginning of the show, if you guys were on, I'm sure you weren't because it's too long for someone to sit here
Yeah.
and listen
No,
to us
nobody's
ramble.
still on
no,
from the
but
beginning.
Anyway, I would bring drinks. I'd bring things over to the guys. These guys, Ronnie
They don't
and
do
Bob,
shit for
they
you,
don't
do
do
they?
they don't
Hey,
do shit for us.
I brought drinks over.
You did.
I asked you if you
I
needed
said
a
no.
lemonade or
I said
anything.
no.
Yeah,
I said
I
no.
know.
But Kyle did offer.
Yes,
Ron and Bob, they're eating, and they've been eating for about a half hour,
Yeah.
if not more.
Oh, they'll be out. They'll be eating for hours.
Yeah, so,
If there's food on the table, they won't be back.
Well, we're gonna find someone that's gonna help us out with some drinks. here,
Yeah, we
because
will.
We've got 4 whole people to entertain right now.
And there's 2 of them right there.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. Right? Are you Hi? You've been helping us out so much. What's your name?
Yes.
Billy.
You're
Billy from-
fantastic.
Billy from New
Now, are
York.
you
From New
fire
York.
Island.
department?
Long Island.
From where?
Long
let's-
Island.
Long Island Fire Department.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, can we
yes.
give it up? Can we
Yes.
just? I'm gonna put it down. Give it up.
Fire
Thank
department,
you.
Fire Department
Thank
right
you.
there. So
first responder.
he's been here. He's been
and-
taking pictures, doing all kinds of cool
Oh,
stuff.
yeah,
He's
no,
bringing us props when
Bringing
we
us
needed them.
props.
Yeah.
Literally, I've got 2 phones of Ronnie's
Who
here.
knows what's going on with those
I-
things?
I don't know what goes
Huh?
on. Ronnie.
There was what?
Ron's
Ronnie.
Music?
He's music,
Okay,
yeah. I mean, yeah, they can play music.
What would you like to drink?
I would like
Cousin
a
Frank.
small bourbon.
Okay, would
Ice.
you like Elijah Craig? They have
Elijah Craig would
Elijah
be good.
Craig's
Could I
good,
have?
yeah.
Would you mind terribly? And then, actually, we want to talk to you in just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Would you, Elijah Craig, neat? You want to neat?
A little
Neat.
ice.
Little ice.
Neat.
One
Little
neat,
ice.
you can use that glass.
Neat.
And then one ice. And then
I
we
like
want to talk to you.
Yes.
Yeah, and we want to talk to you a little bit about the fire department. when we come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll have him on the show. We
That's
bring
very nice
everybody
of
on.
him
Yeah,
to
why
go
not?
do
Bring
that for
everybody
us.
on. Hey,
Heck yeah.
listen, if they allow me on the show, anybody else can come on.
I got on the show, so
Exactly. Exactly.
Elijah Craig.
Thank you,
It's
Elijah
okay.
Craig.
His memory is as good as mine.
So we don't get
yeah.
to know about Cousin Frank because he's very
He's
deep.
mysterious.
He's 007.
007 on the show.
If he told you everything,
Undercover.
he would have to kill you.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I
and
probably should have taken that initiative as well
I-
instead of telling you everything about me.
Well, the good thing is that, one of the things that we're trying to do is to reach out and have more female guests.
Yeah. We're probably
Getting
diversity. Diversity
Getting
into
a view from a woman's perspective in the industry. So having you on today was really important from a lot of different standpoints because
You had
bringing that
great,
view.
great points,
Great
views.
content. I mean, she's bringing a very important view to the table. And, I could see us inviting you back onto the show. We do it on Tuesday nights,
Yeah.
and, it's kind of like a Zoom format, but we invite our guests on, and it would be a pleasure to have you on.
Well, we're going to see her again because we
Well,
got to
we're gonna
come and
be at
accept
the-
the key.
Well, yes, when we go, listen.
I don't
folks,
even have
we're
a
gonna be-
key. You guys are big shit now. Like, you're bigger than me.
We're going to
I
get a
don't know
key to the
anything
city
about
of Arlington, Texas,
Jim
folks.
never said, Jerah, I'm going to give you a key to the city. Like,
Yeah, well, you didn't ask. I asked
mind,
him.
nobody.
I asked. He
You
said,
got to.
all right.
You got
to.
Oh, look. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
Whoa.
hey, nice of you to
Look
come
at
back.
this.
Hey, that's a nice pour.
I'm going to be able to go and eat something. Look at that.
That's a nice pour. Well,
But you-
Cousin
I said to
Frank.
Maria several times, I said, you think we should go back? He says, nah, they're
Yeah.
having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well,
Yeah.
hang out
Well,
here.
I needed you, Daddy.
Yeah.
I needed you, Daddy.
It's almost time to go anyway.
I
Here,
needed that good
let me
beard,
switch
you know?
over to the chairs here. Frank can
Slide
go get
over.
some food.
I can get some
Hey,
food.
Cousin Frank.
Yes.
Eat up, brother.
I am. I
because
need
it's
it.
good stuff over there. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
If you like moist, more moist ribs.
Moist. That's a good word.
Moist.
Can we
Take them
say
on the
that a
right
couple
side.
times on the podcast? There's moist
Moist.
barbecue over here. There's moist barbecue. Definitely moist.
So what's been going on here, man?
What have we missed?
Well, we're going to catch up with you guys for a second, and then I want to give my stuff up because I'm nobody. I want you guys to talk to Billy. Billy is with the fire department over in Long Island.
Long Island. Long Island. You gotta say it right.
Long
Come
Island.
on. Long Island.
I've been in Texas too long. I've been
Yeah.
in Texas too long.
All good.
Oh, I was going to, okay.
I like that.
Have a seat, Billy. Welcome.
Yeah, let me get that lighter, man.
Now, the first thing here when Big Daddy Ron gets his headphones on here.
I'm Big Daddy Ron.
Big Daddy
indeed.
Ron gets his headphones on. You want me to scooch? Okay. I'm
She's gonna
scooch-
scooch.
Oh, hey, babe.
Oh, baby.
Oh, this is what I was waiting for,
Mwah.
man. Are you kidding me?
Boy, that was a setup if I've ever seen it.
Boy, oh, boy. Can't
Hey,
take him anywhere.
So Ron and Bob, how's dinner?
It was
was
actually
delicious.
very good.
Very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So they do barbecue okay here in Florida?
Yeah, not
Not
like they do in
bad, not
Texas.
bad.
Like they do in
but
Texas?
Not like they do in
Everything's-
what I
Texas.
want to
Everything's better in Texas, I heard.
Everything's
Bigger and better.
and better.
Bigger and better.
here's what you
Bigger
did.
and
Even the
better.
Pintos are better.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whoo!
yeah.
Well, Pinto's a horse, isn't it?
And what kind of horse you talking about, son?
Depends what you're riding.
First of all, Billy, don't get kicked off the show before you got on the show.
Yeah, really. You know, you came in with heaviness
You're
there.
coming in hard in the paint, you know.
Welcome, folks. We got a EMS specialist out of New York area here.
Long Island.
Long Island, but he handles Queens.
Long
you know?
Island, man.
I came in just for Dave's event.
That's
Dave's,
it?
Dave's a near and dear friend. Got the pleasure of meeting him a couple of times.
Smoked his American Legion, big
Thank
supporter
you.
of the cigar, and now is above and beyond, all about the shield and the service.
And also, Billy was kind enough to get us a beverage.
Yes, he did. He
was
met me
kind
out
of
at the table.
Very nice.
So I was excited about
Yeah,
that.
I'll have to get a refill
Because
myself.
cousin
but
Frank his panties were twisted.
I bet it was.
Because you
Why?
guys
wow.
were eating and you took a long time, and he's like, "Where are these guys?
I told
They're
you we had to
still
get
eating."
back,
And
you know?
Oh, come on, cousin Frank.
he was hungry. What are you
Cousin
gonna
Frank
do?
was getting hangry. I was gonna have to find him a Snickers bar. He was gonna, turn
Yeah,
into
right?
Joe Pesci or some shit.
No, I wouldn't say Joe Pesci. I would say more like,
Two youths.
who do
two
you want to
youths.
put? The two youths.
I love that
Vinny.
I was
movie.
going to call him
Cousin
Oprah Winfrey, but, we don't want to go there.
Is it 4 degrees before Tap Dead?
It's a bogus question.
So, Billy, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's going on?
She was
Nothing,
fantastic.
tell
in
us
that
your
movie,
connection
though.
with
She
the
was
Big Dave
absolutely
man.
All right,
Dynamite.
so I was fortunate to meet Dave at Famous Smoke in eastern Pennsylvania. I went down for a cigar event, tried a cigar, and was very impressed with it. That was back with the American Legion when he was supporting the American Legion. So I met Dave on a Friday. Saturday happened to be up by my area on Long Island, so I went to the event as well. We became really, really great friends. And anytime I come down to Tampa, we always get together. We'll go to dinner, we'll do something, we'll have a cigar, we'll meet at a local lounge or whatever. Just his compassion and his love for the military, for the police, the firefighters, the paramedics, everybody in the first responder line, how he supports and gives back for the cause is amazing.
Yes. True red, white, and blue.
He bleeds. He bleeds
yes, he
American
does.
patriotism.
Yep.
His father, it's a very good company. And he's throwing this wonderful event for all his customers and his patrons and people who smoke his product. It's an amazing thing to have something like this where people can come from all walks of life.
And he keeps in touch with all of them.
Oh yeah, he's just a phone call away.
Always.
And that's what's good about it. You can call up, you can order direct from him, but he's all about the cigar and how everybody enjoys the different cigars, the different flavors, the different palettes. It's an amazing, when he goes live, he's going live when he's down at the factory, and it's his compassion. It's nothing
and
more
that's
to say.
that's so interesting, especially on this podcast, because let's do the rundown. Even before we got here, you've spoken me, the mayor,
Yeah.
the guy from Cigar Obsession. Who else?
Brian.
Well, we actually had his best friend from third grade, Hugo, on.
Hugo.
Came on, and now we've got you coming in from Long Island. And so, how long have you been doing this work?
I worked in New York City EMS 20 plus years. I just left now with the COVID pandemic. I left December. I was working on 11. So, I've seen things that make you not conversation to be had.
No,
Sure.
It's
horrible stories. Yep.
But it makes you enjoy when you get done with a hard day's work, whether you're a taxi cab driver, you're a car wash person, you work at a laundromat, no matter what you do, to get done with a hard day's work, to enjoy a nice cigar. And that's what Dave brings.
That's
with the
another
Blanco
beautiful
line.
thing. It's not just about having political conversations civilly. This is an unwinding tool.
It's a decompression. I smoke every night of the week with a retired New York City cop, retired corrections officer, and a retired mechanic. Every night we smoke with 4 of us. And it's all walks of life. So it could be, like I said, it could be a janitor. It could be somebody who's a cook. It doesn't matter what you are. It's your love of the leaf. And that's what brings everybody together is the product that we're all having in our hands, these cigars.
Here,
Yes, it
here.
does.
Here.
You know,
Cheers
and
to you,
that's-
friend.
No, that's a
That's-
fact.
Cheers.
And thank you for really the service of the madness that Bob and I, both from New York City, we've seen it, we've done there, we understand. Thank God we weren't there in the last 25 years of the craziness that New York City has become. We go back, we haven't been back 2 years ago when we did another event, and it was not the New York.
It's
that
not
we
the
grew
New
up
York
in.
I grew up in, that's for sure.
It's not a how you doing.
No.
Oh, it's always a how you doing, but it's not the way how we're doing.
It's a forget about you. Forget about it.
It's forget about New York City.
All right?
It is.
But
It-
it's
forget
just-
about
It's
it.
changed so much.
You can't smoke in buildings. They're going after now. You can't smoke. They don't want you smoking in public, but yet you can walk. I worked in Manhattan for the last 6 months. You get off the train at Penn Station, you walk into your office, and people are smoking weed at 6 o'clock in the morning on the street.
yeah.
You can't walk a city avenue without somebody smoking, without smelling marijuana.
We were in Vegas
PCA.
at the
Okay.
PCA in June.
Okay.
we were at Treasure Island. We came outside. You know,
Everybody's smoking.
No, we went to light up
Smoking
our
weed.
cigars, and we were reprimanded. You can't light that up.
Cigarettes or cigars were not allowed in the streets
You
of
can't
Las
smoke
Vegas.
tobacco in the street, but meanwhile, everybody around us is blowing fucking joints. Excuse me, but
there's
they're all
Hey, I said
smoking
it, I said
joints
it.
like
there's a big
it's
double,
like, what are you kidding me?
big double standard. Now I live in Long Island, so for me I go down to like Atlantic City,
Yeah.
2.5 hour drive. I'm sitting at a smoking table, card table, and everybody's smoking their cigarettes. So I light up a cigar, and then you get the.
Yeah.
I turn around, I'm like, you're in a smoking section.
Get out of here.
But
And you're smoking a cigarette, which is a hell of a lot worse.
So I tell the person, listen, let me take 2 more drags, and I'll put my cigar down. I'm respectful. But if I'm going to put my cigar down, you're not going to smoke your cigarettes.
There you go.
Officially
There you
become
go.
a no smoking table.
Hey, look.
It's a respect.
If
Correct.
you can smell my secondhand smoke if I got to listen to your secondhand bullshit conversation.
Very good. There you go.
Take
I
it
hate to
from,
say
take
this.
it from her.
I like her.
That's a good political answer. But
Well
it's,
said.
it's a double standard. And
Oh, it is.
you know
It
what?
is.
Alla Natural versus the chemicals.
Yeah. You're breathing it in, my IQ's going down. It is what it is.
My IQ always goes down, but
Yeah.
that's besides the point.
No,
But I mean, it's like when you look here, how many people have come today to Dave's event?
yeah.
And there's people, like you said, all walks of life, and it's an amazing thing. And you gentlemen, and our co-hosts over here, they're talking about the cigars. They're talking about different things about the cigar. There's these different groups. There's Brothers of the Leaf, Sisters of the Leaf.
Yes.
You know, there's different fanatics for everything, but it's all about
The leaf.
exactly.
Now, hold
And-
on. They're Sisters of the Leaf?
SOTL.
Yeah, Sister of
There's
the
Talk
Leaf.
to me
yeah,
about
yeah.
this.
SOTL. If you look on
I feel like I should be running this
Get on
joint.
Facebook.
You should. Yeah.
Get
all-
on
it's all online.
Facebook.
I want to
It's a
I want to
big
know
group.
about that.
Very
Sisters
big
of the
group.
Leaf.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
SOTL. It's
Okay.
it's a hashtag too, if I'm
I
not
love
mistaken.
that. I love that.
But you know, like with living in Long Island, I go down to Pennsylvania often, and I'm affiliated with another law enforcement group, Cigar, and the owners, one's a retired Port Authority police officer,
Yep.
and with their cigar line, they go to other cigar functions. Like if they were here, they're here for this event, even though they own another line. They support their other fellow small,
Absolutely.
You know who does
small
You know who
companies.
does that too is Al McAuliffe, who owns
McAuliffe.
Cigars. He has a podcast that he brings on like competitors, and they talk about cigars. And he's like, and that's what I love about this industry is a lot of the people that are in it are not necessarily worried about competition. They're more
called-
worried about the survival of the industry.
So
Believe
my-
it or not, it's a small
Very
group
small.
of people.
My-
My,
I love
my,
that.
my buddy
It is.
Kevin, who's one of the principals of the company, I'm not going to name it because it's not politically right for me to mention their name. He calls it cooperation. Whether you're talking about my cigar, I'm talking about your cigar, we're talking about cigars.
Yeah.
Right.
That being said, with the group that I belong to, every month we have a different sponsor. So every month there's the manufacturer of the cigar comes in and goes on a Zoom. We Zoom twice a week, and we talk about cigars. Then we do, if you smoke the cigar, you hashtag with the hashtag. You went to a raffle at the end of the month. You win a prize from the company.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal thing because you get people buying a specific cigar. They might not have tried that before, but you know what? Blanco Cigars is our sponsor of the month. So everybody's going to go out. They're going to do the hashtag with Blanco in it, and you could see how many people are now trying your cigars and what's your recoil of it.
Of course.
It's you're getting your name out there. It's about a good product. Whether it's my cigar, your cigar,
Yep.
his cigar, that cigar. It's about the cigar.
Yeah.
You
And everybody supporting one another.
Exactly.
As what you just said at the
Cooperation.
BCA.
BCA.
One of the
Boutique
guys
Cigar
that we were talking with
Association.
had gone through
They-
all the vendors and bought a box of cigars from everybody. We were like,
it sounds like my buddy Kevin. They were at IPCR, the one that was just in Vegas.
okay,
Yes.
yeah.
They were there because they were part of.
Well, we were there
they
too,
Were
but-
they were part of the Espinosa family.
all right.
All right.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's
So I
all-
asked him about it. I said, why would you buy cigars from everybody else? He says, just to support everybody.
That definitely
yeah.
sounds
He's,
like
I'm
my
not,
buddy
I'm
Kevin.
not looking for competition. I'm just here to support everybody.
Because
That's
you
all.
would hope that it would be twofold.
I just joined
Yeah.
Sisters of the Leaf. I'm really
Did
excited
you?
about this. I didn't know
'Cause
anything
you're
about
welcome.
it.
You can only be a
man.
You
woman to
are.
join. I can't join. I tried to join
What?
because I wanted to be part of it.
How do you
gotta
know
be
I'm a
only
woman? I
as
don't
a
know if
woman.
I'm a woman.
Oh, man, I feel like a woman.
Yeah, right.
But, I mean, it's all...
I think you're a woman.
It's all...
I'm pretty sure
You
you're a
certainly
woman.
look like one.
And that's what's good about the cigars.
Yeah.
Whether you're smoking a flavor-infused cigar, a lot of people are like, flavor-infused cigars.
Yeah,
You're
no, I
smoking
don't go
a
for that.
Lancero.
Yeah.
You're smoking a Paquito. You're smoking a Churchill. You're smoking a Robusto. You're smoking a Toro. You're smoking a Gordo. Everybody's got different flavor palettes.
Sure.
And that's what makes it good is I might enjoy a bigger cigar. You might enjoy a smaller cigar.
Of course.
It's all about having a good time, having a good conversation, and talking to people about your cigar.
You have a very calming presence about you. Like, do you ever raise your voice?
Yes.
Okay, because
There's a time and a place. And
because we're Italian, we're very loud, boisterous people. I
No,
don't know
we're
what your
not.
heritage
Not that we
is,
mean to be. We just are.
but I noticed that when you sat down and you started talking, that you are like you have a very calm demeanor, and
there's a time and a place for everything.
I like this.
And doing what I did for the time that I did it. I've been doing it since high school, being a volunteer first and doing it for a living. You see a lot of garbage
Yeah.
that you really wouldn't anticipate to see. So you have to know when you could lose your cool, when not to lose your cool.
Sure.
So I'll give you an example.
Please.
I go to a call for a newborn baby, less than 1 year old. The babies, what do babies do? They cry, they eat, and they poop their diapers.
Correct.
So this baby pooped a diaper. So the 14-year-old mother,
14-year-old
emphasize the
mother.
word 14-year-old mother, takes the baby, turns the faucet on, and puts the baby under the faucet.
Oh,
Baby got second-degree burns all up in the groin region.
Oh, my God.
Now, at that point, who do you want to smack? Do you want to smack the mother or the mother of the mother? But you have to constrain yourself. You have to constrain yourself,
Such a good point.
right? But the point
Both.
being is you know when to choose your battles.
Yep.
I learned that. That's what you have to do. You have to know when to say when. It's like when you drink, you know when to say when. And I went home after work, had a cigar with my buddies, blew my steam off. And again, one buddy was a correctional officer at Rikers Island. My other buddy was a New York City cop.
tough jobs.
They could understand when you're having a bad day. They understand and they can talk about it. It's the best saving grace over a cigar.
I feel like you have a very, I feel like you have a gift of de-escalation in your,
It comes with experience of what I
Comes with-
dealt
yeah.
with.
you see what
I
I'm
would
saying?
say so.
And
So-
when we teach guns, and I do that for a living, right? I teach firearms, right? And that's one of the things that we teach is the value of de-escalation. I feel like that's a gift that you have. I don't even know you, but
So these gentlemen are from Queens, so they understand when I say Creedmoor Psychiatric Hospital.
I worked
We
there.
worked there.
So,
I was in the forensic ward. I dealt with all the crazy
so
murderers and
well,
stuff.
they're not crazy. Can't say
Oh,
that.
well, at the time.
Dis-
Right?
disturbed?
So, right.
At
So,
the time.
Politically
We-
correct, Bob.
I go into
Times
all
have
these,
changed for us, buddy.
I go into all these different buildings, and I've dealt with many patients in there. And I had one of the guys, and every time I go in the building, I always say hello to him. You never know. They could be a patient, whatever. Never.
Yeah, yeah.
I go in one day, and he was off the cuckoo nest. Totally.
Jack Nicholson.
He took the room, he uprooted the room, folded up the chairs, locked the door. So I was able to nudge the door open. And meanwhile, this is when New York City police started carrying the tasers. So the sergeant's sitting there, and I nudge the door open, and I go, listen, you and I are friends? He goes, yeah, I like you. I said, listen, you're not acting like a gentleman. Put the chairs up. Come on, I'll take you to whatever hospital you want to go to. So the guy's like, all right, I like you. So he uprooted everything nice, de-escalated a problem. It's how you talk to somebody.
a lot of times it is. And for me, it's a flipping on its axis of my normal personality when I have to invoke that. And I have to try. And I don't feel like, I could be wrong about this entire assumption, but, I feel like you don't have to try. Like, I feel like this is just natural for you. You probably have a lot more experience than me, but I love your demeanor. I love how you talk. I love how you're very calm all the time. You are articulate. You make good points, and that's important because I feel like we're getting a lot of people in our police force and in our fire departments that don't know how to do that.
Because some of them take it for a job. And now with all the hoopla and the righteous and how they could be held accountable for things, it's a different world than it was 20 years ago.
Yes.
Back when I was a kid, you opened your mouth to the cop would whap you in the mouth. And then he'd take you home to your parents.
Oh, yeah. They'll lap you in the mouth.
But nowadays you can't.
They would.
But nowadays you can't do those kinds of things.
No, you
and
can't.
it's become a totally different world where they all have body cameras now, body cameras to protect the cop because people have fraudulent lawsuits. So it's the world is totally changing
Completely.
and it's how they want to take down these. They want to get rid of the Confederate flag. It was part of our history way back when. You can't change that American history.
Well, they want to change. They want to rewrite it, actually.
And that's
the
what the world
problem,
we're coming
yeah.
with now. And I don't political view. Everybody's got their own political view, but you can't change what was done. We don't currently use it. It's part of our history and our heritage. Let it go.
Yeah, you have to know when to let go of that stuff. And I do a lot of personal protection work. I do a lot of security work back in Texas, and I work with a lot of young guys that are coming into security work. And it's a problem that we have in teaching these de-escalation tactics and teaching these people how to calm down and how to deal with it. Yeah, and I tell the guys,
why is it a problem?
Because they want action.
So
the boys that are coming in to the security world, the boys that are coming into the police force, they want action. That's what they're looking for.
Exactly.
They want to rough somebody up.
Yeah, and I tell them, look, it's going to find you eventually. You don't have to worry about that. There's going to come a time when it's going to come to you. But they want it now. And I'm like, you need to pray for boredom. You need to pray to be bored because you don't want that smoke. But understand it's going to come to you no matter what, but you need to quit praying for it on a regular basis. You need to stop doing it.
We have our brothers and sisters that are on the job that are getting executed.
Yep.
Point blank. They're
smoke.
coming up, and we've had several in New York City where cops were sitting in their car doing nothing, doing their job. Somebody walks up and lights up a bunch of rounds killing cops.
You need to be way more worried about changing hearts and minds.
And then you got those people that are also, you have those people that have mental issues that want to die by police, which they're going to try to incite a cop to shoot him. So you're right, de-escalating, it's a wonderful thing. You can't teach it. It's something you have to have.
It is. You can teach it to a certain degree. I would disagree with you on that. You can teach it to a certain degree, but it's up to the person that you're teaching to accept that mindset, to want to have that as the first option.
Take what you teach them.
Yes, they have to be able to be critiqued, right? If you can't be corrected, you're not coachable.
I had a coworker of mine who was doing a basic psychiatric transfer from one psychiatric hospital to another, and the person went off the reservation in the back of the ambulance, where he got himself out of the ambulance, off the stretcher, took the tough book laptop that we have, and literally disabled my partner. Like, he's physically disabled, can never work again.
Were you driving
Manhandled
at the
him.
time?
No, I wasn't work. I was sleeping because I worked the overnights.
Wow.
I woke up to about 35 messages on my phone. But one of my coworkers is permanently disabled because somebody flew the coop and totally lost. Then the guy, the truck stops. The driver comes around, opens the back door. The guy gets out. 2 off-duty cops stop. And then the guy carjacks an off-duty cop's car.
Oh,
No
God.
shit.
Oh, God.
So now, when they wind up getting the guy in the Bronx, he went through Queens, up through
Triborough.
right, got into the Bronx. They finally got him because he's got a mental defect. He won't face any charges for the carjacking or physically assaulting and disabling my partner.
Unbelievable.
Where's the fairness when we're just doing our jobs?
That's it.
You understand?
And meanwhile, the guy's disabled for life.
He got beat up. He got brain damage, messed up his eye. Because he got manhandled with a tough ball.
And the DA won't do anything against them because they
he's
don't want
they'll
to.
go psychiatric. They'll go with a mental defect. But
That's
again,
outrageous.
there's only so much you could talk to somebody, and whether somebody takes it or doesn't take it, everybody reacts differently.
Then you have to understand when the proper time is to invoke this physical defense. And that's the hard part, but we have gone away from, you're totally right, because in a lot of this sort of decades prior of law enforcement, you could get away with a lot more physically than you can now. There's pros and cons to that.
Before the version of the cell phones with cameras.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of pros
Technology.
and cons to that, but we should always be of the mind where we're supposed to be helping and help rehabilitating people, and then that physical part of it, that physical defense,
As total
should
last
be
resort.
total last resort. But don't get me wrong, I'll punch a bitch.
Oh, well, you got to do what you got to do.
Okay,
Hey,
sometimes you got to do what you
absolutely.
got to do, but this is one of the things, and it goes full circle all the way back to what I love about you is I feel like that's a gift that you have. And man, I wish and I hope that you will teach it to other people, like get them to understand that this is,
I'm about not using force unless I have to.
of course, absolutely.
Because you know what? I don't want you to hurt yourself as well as
No.
I don't want to get hurt. I want to go
And
home
you
at
don't
the
want
end
to
of
get
the
hurt,
day.
absolutely.
I want them to go home. I want everybody to go home.
I
Because
love
again,
it, Billy. I love it, Billy.
We
Man,
want
this
these.
is great.
Uh,
We want these. We want to go home to these.
That's
no,
all
With
it's
our
all
people.
about.
I don't even. I get out of work, literally 30 seconds after I'm in my car. Boop! It's cigar o'clock. No matter what time of the day
I
it is,
believe it, man.
it is cigar o'clock. And like I said, I flew in
It's
yesterday.
your tranquilizer.
I flew in yesterday from New York. I came in for this for Dave, and I'm going back tomorrow to New York because I got to back to work on Monday. But this is like a little getaway. Being down here in Tampa and hanging out with you guys and being on the podcast and just meeting people as a group from Pennsylvania that's here from Shamokin, PA, Breakers Cigars. And they're a good bunch of guys. With my group that I'm in, they're part of the group. I've talked to these guys numerous times online with Zoom. Got to finally meet them. I got to meet them in Florida when they're 2 states over from me in Pennsylvania.
Is that awesome?
Right? But it's the common cause. The cigar.
It is.
John,
Brings a lot of people together,
thank you.
man.
Thank
Oh,
you
it's
so
so
much for coming
peaceful.
on.
Thanks for
and
what you're
you've
doing, man.
done.
Well, listen,
what
it's-
you've
Thank you.
done and what
And you
you're
know what?
doing.
It's Dave, his father, Kelly, the cigar rollers that make our cigars. We can't forget the people that
No,
make them.
we can't-
Yeah.
They,
we can't
they
forget
harvest
that.
the fields.
These are the
They
important
roll
people.
the most important people.
The people
'Cause without
behind
them,
the scenes that
that
no
we
one
don't
even
know
thinks about. You know?
Right. Nobody says thank you enough to them.
No.
And it's like I said, it's not about this cigar, that cigar. It's about the cigar.
Thank you so much, Billy. Man, this was a pleasure. It's not my podcast, but thank you.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
I
Thank you,
got
buddy.
on the
And
joint.
Really
quick-
from New York, guys.
And if
EMS,
you weren't here,
go for it.
if you weren't here, you missed a damn good time.
Next year,
So-
You did.
be here. Next
Absolutely.
year.
Sign up on Blanco's page.
Get
Get
his
the
cigars.
emails. He's all about the cigar, law enforcement. He's got a bunch of good lines. Try them. Economical, good price point, great cigar, great company. Try it, enjoy it, and next year you have your butt here with us in Seminole, Florida.
A true veteran. Red,
Here
white,
with Billy,
and blue.
too.
There you go.
It's a
Thank
good
you,
time.
Billy.
All right. Thank you
Thank
so
Thanks,
much.
buddy.
All right, guys.
Thanks again.
Safe ride
Really
home, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
I'm
good
available.
stuff.
So am I. I mean, it depends on Bob.
You know,
He's
we
got
a
me for
thing
24
going
hours.
I can't
And
Only
then
24 though.
Well, it's up to you after that. I mean, if
I
you
heard
want to
that's the-
release the Pinto,
I heard that's the appetizer.
you know.
I heard you're a good dessert man.
It's up to Bob whether he wants to release the Pinto. I don't know.
I don't think so.
The Greeks with their pastries,
That's
the Greeks
how
with their
they-
pastries.
yeah.
Well, Italians got good
The Italians with their
pastries, too.
cannolis. You know.
Hey, we got good pastry.
Hey, bada bing, bada boom.
Bada
right?
bing.
There you go.
So,
All right,
again,
folks.
like I said,
that was
next year,
Billy.
come back, come here next year, enjoy.
Definitely.
Thanks for
definitely.
having me.
Thank
Thanks,
you for
Billy.
being
Thanks, Billy.
here. Thank you. Safe ride back. We're going to have John Calloway and Jack coming on right after this. Kyle is doing his job and bringing them over.
Yeah, he had the drone over before.
He did the drones, and then we're going to almost wrapping this up, folks. And
What
again,
time is
thank
it
you.
anyway?
Yeah, I just looked. I'm like, holy cow.
5:45.
We said 4 o'clock, but we're 2 hours into it. I hope you're all enjoying this. This has been a really special event. Thank
Been
you
a lot
so
of
much
fun.
for
A
everybody
lot of
who's
fun
been
today.
on. Hold on a little bit. We're going to be getting John Calloway coming on, the man that could show you where you can find a cigar anywhere in the United States.
Anywhere.
He's got a
Anywhere.
patent down, and he knows what to do. He's bringing on a special guest named Jack. I don't really know much about Jack, but Jack is definitely coming on board. with John over here.
All
John's
right,
gonna
what's
take
happening,
his
man?
seat. We've had John on in the past, and we're going to bring an update on what's going on
Thank
with
you.
his new cigarash.com app. And everybody needs, thank you, sir.
Lighter.
Oh, a
You
different
okay?
one that we got here.
thank you, thank you.
Above
So real
and
quick,
beyond.
Because I think I'm about to sign off. I think.
You're gonna sign
are
off?
you the cigar ash? Am I?
Yes.
My Ash cigar, yes.
My
Yes,
Ash
I got
cigar.
introduced to this.
You know, there's cameras everywhere going through. You know, you're talking with a whole bunch of people there. They started it off with a